sitting in the car, and she was killed.
Yeah, that doesn't sit well with a lot of moms out there. What are they doing at 3:30 a.m.? She should be at home and in bed.
Yeah, that's the question that you're not going to get the Chicago press corps, or political press corps, the Dem Socialist Com Shop to ask. You're not going to have that conversation uh, about taking care of your family. You know, it's funny when Charles Thomas sitting in for you on Friday, and we talked a little bit about violence. We talked because you had some interesting developments, people targeting postal workers in the city, and the increase in postal worker attacks, and the head of the postal worker union saying we need more police and we need more prosecutions. Boy, isn't that interesting? But and Charles Thomas's point was, you know, he lives in West Loop, and he lives in what is or used to
Used
be
to
a
be.
nice area. I mean, right in sort of the entertainment district that is in West Loop. And he said, you know, I don't go out after dark. So it seems to me like if Charles Thomas doesn't go out after dark, like when the sun goes down in West Loop, then on the west side, these neighborhoods, the near west side, like where this murder of this 5-year-old occurred, that's even more to the point. You have to be a little bit cognizant of your surroundings, and you have to decide, I suppose, whether you want to take political action to change things or evasive action to live with them. And in this case, I know the father, the 24-year-old father, was also wounded in the shooting. But in this case, the tough questions about to the family, as I know it's difficult when they're grieving, certainly at least the conversation when you have these community leaders get together and the politicians want to say something. What about saying that? Is that too insensitive to say what is a 5-year-old doing out at 3:30 in the morning?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. I mean, is DCFS investigating? Do they have other children? Because you know this probably isn't the first time, Dan, that they've stayed out to do whatever and be selfish parents. Sorry, but it's true. Because they want to get their drink on or they want to hang out. It's Memorial Day weekend. Let's have fun. Um, why isn't DCFS investigating? I've had friends that have had kids, fall down the stairs and they broke a bone, so DCFS came to the house. I've had DCFS at my house before too, and they're not this. They're going to leave this family alone.
Mom, I just want justice. The violence has to stop. How long is this going to go on until everybody kills everybody? Just let people live. The family announced a GoFundMe page to help with expenses.
I mean, I am so
Boy.
sorry they lost their daughter, but sometimes parents are accountable, or they should be held accountable for their actions, and it's a horrible lesson to learn. But I just first thing I said when I saw this, what the heck? And people in the newsroom, they talked about this. I mean, this isn't the first time that this has happened, where the questions out, but nobody ever asked the questions to police or to even the
Yeah,
parents or the family, because the family needs media attention to get the GoFundMe money.
right. We're going to have, I mean, the. I didn't want to deal with it honestly, but there's other reporting that there was a lot of sort of not the kid obviously, but a lot of sort of loitering and partying. I mean, what is anybody doing on the streets at 3:30 in the morning? If Charles Thomas doesn't feel comfortable walking around the West Loop as soon as dusk, then I don't know why people, particularly depending on what their alliances are and what their exposure is to the street violence, what they're doing loitering out at 3:30 in the morning. Period. Much less with the 5-year-old. It's just this is
Mind
this
numbing.
is this is the conversation that people just refuse to have. This is the leadership and the mentorship and the community activism and all those phrases that are thrown around, the politicians' words that are thrown around, and nobody says what we're essentially saying is to say the person who opened fire on them is the responsible party, but you can't be oblivious to your surroundings and you unnecessarily put your kid in harm's way. And also just sort of a baseline again of like treating your toddler like she's a young adult and is just hanging out and partying with the adults. That's not how it's supposed to go. But you can't say that.
No, but we are.
Because that's making a judgment. That's saying one approach is better than another approach.
I mean, it's every weekend. Like, last weekend it was 37 shot. This weekend, 41 shot, 9 fatally, and then that number's going to go up, and because people are in the hospital.
It's every weekend. It's every weekend for the last 15 years.
Right. So these parents know that they're putting their child in harm's way, and they did it anyway.
And what are we going to find out about these thugs that opened fire and killed this girl, and wounded her father? What are we going to find out about them?
Probably
the stories
the
again. The stories that are we don't know for
what
sure. About their record of being a justice impacted individual is my question. Because these stories are just as legion as the stories of kids being mowed down in the crossfire. Chicago man who carjacked a Lyft driver at gunpoint has 7 cases pending in juvie court. 18-year-old man carjacked a Lyft driver at gunpoint while awaiting trial for 7 different cases in juvenile court. Some of those cases, noted the judge, are for violent crimes. So now, after he carjacked a 45-year-old Lyft driver from Palatine, now he is being detained because he's a public safety risk. You know, we gave you 7 chances. The 8th one, now we're going to have to detain you. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. So, I guess I can see why we don't have adults behaving as adults, because we don't have adults in positions of power behaving like adults. Feds charged 4 with the Chicago gang murder, including 2 who were on bail for gun cases.
Oh, go looky there.
And it takes, the awakening that doesn't occur until it is at your doorstep. It is just so. I mean, it's a attendant to the human condition, but like everything, like every pathology circulating in American culture right now, it is particularly pronounced in Chicago, isn't it? And down goes another 5-year-old.
Shame on her dad. I mean, police say that a group of men hopped out of the car and they ambushed them.
Yeah, well,
him. Not knowing the 5-year-old was in the
figure
car.
out what that was about.
Yeah.
Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, I'm Charlie Moon. I've been in the trading game for almost 20 years, and I just discovered the most powerful trading tool I've ever seen. So if you're trading stocks or options, then listen up. This new AI-powered trade finder can find you stocks to consider trading, which have had gains as high as 1,729% and have had nearly perfect win rates. It analyzes the entire stock market in seconds and pumps out a list of trades for you to consider every single morning. And the trades it finds can be potentially profitable regardless of which direction the market is moving. So if you want in on this action, listen closely. For a short amount of time, I'm opening up free access to some of these picks and giving you the chance to get top trade ideas from the AI Trade Finder every day for 100% free. Just text TRADE to 76626. Stop trying to find the right stocks to trade on your own. Just text TRADE to 76626 now and get access to the top trades our AI finds every single day. Text TRADE to 76626. Standard text and data rates may apply. Past performance is not indicative of future results.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
Lock 'em up with Windy City Saves. A home is burglarized every 15 seconds in the United States. What are you doing to keep your most prized possessions safe? Windy City Safes is Chicagoland's only Liberty Safe dealer. When it comes to protecting your valuables, you want the best of the best. That's why Liberty Safes are proud to say that all Liberty Safes are made in the USA with a transferable lifetime warranty. With Liberty Safes, you're not just getting a safe, you're getting peace of mind. Discover the best of the best in safe manufacturing with Liberty, America's #1 producer of heavy-duty home and gun safes. Well over 100 safes in stock for immediate pickup or delivery. Windy City Safes is proud to offer military and first responder discounts. Come visit our showroom in Niles or call 224-LOCKBOX. That's 224-LOCKBOX. Or online at WindyCitySafes.com. That's WindyCitySafes.com.
Lock 'em up with Windy City Safes.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, we found at least one non-cake eater who lives in Winnetka. We'll have the Winnetka shootout story at 5:38.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
5:31, 57 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Chicago police overnight shot and killed a suspect with a knife and wounded a man he was attacking on the west side. Police say Monday night, officers were patrolling in the 300 block of South Cicero Avenue when police say they saw a man attempting to stab another man in the street. We will have more details on this developing story at 6. At least 23 are dead as severe weather has impacted many parts of the central and southern U.S. Sunday saw the most active severe storm day of 2024, hitting with thunderstorms and high winds in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Alabama. The UN Security Council is set to meet today following a deadly Israeli military strike in the southern Gazan city of Rafah. The weekend strike struck camp housing of those displaced due to the fighting. Israeli officials say the target was a Hamas compound and that two of the militant group's most senior commanders were killed. This morning, a 17-year-old boy is dead and several others were injured after a shooting early this morning in downtown Lansing, Michigan. Police say they arrived around 3 a.m. to find a large crowd and multiple shooting victims. At least 7 have been shot so far, confirmed, between the ages of 15 and 20. No one hurt after a United Airlines flight aborted takeoff at O'Hare. The incident happened yesterday after an engine caught fire on a plane bound for Seattle. It was an Airbus A320 aircraft. The heavily used aircraft has seen a string of failures in recent years. An investigation is underway following a home office break-in and then a brazen attempted vehicle theft that resulted in a shootout in Winnetka with a homeowner. Police say 3 people were trying to steal cars yesterday morning in the 400 block of Sheridan Road when they were interrupted by the homeowner, who shouted at the robbery crew and only then exchanged gunfire with the offenders.
I think that there's a real problem in the justice system. Not paying the consequences is really not doing anybody in our society a service.
No one was hurt. 2 of the suspects fled in a vehicle while 1 ran off. A military veteran assaulted outside of a South Loop grocery store last week spoke out at a press conference on Sunday. The victim, Kevin Chin, saying he suffered injuries to the head and body. He's a 41-year-old who served with the U.S. Marines in Iraq.
Of course, this is a little unsettling because the gravity of the situation, that the fact that I was attacked by 8 or 9 individuals.
The attack happened around 11:30 p.m. last Tuesday near Roosevelt and Wabash. Chin, along with community activists, described the attack as a hate crime. Lawmakers in Springfield are still working on the state budget after Democrats in charge blew through their self-imposed deadlines last week Friday. In Springfield this morning, AM 560's Greg Bishop.
The legislature was scheduled until it was too late and session was extended into contingency days. The Senate stayed, and late Sunday, they passed the plan. Democratic State Senator L.G. Sims said the budget's balanced and fair.
Invest in educating our children, protecting our most vulnerable, keeping our communities safe, while investing in modernizing our infrastructure.
Republican State Senator Sally Turner said Governor J.B. Pritzker is keeping his promise.
He's keeping his promise to raise taxes on Illinois citizens by $1 billion a year to fund the migrant crisis that he's created.
The total amount for non-citizen migrants in the budget's $971 million. The House has until May 31st to pass the plan with simple majorities. I'm Greg Bishop.
There was also no action taken on the Bears' request for $2 billion in public funding for a new lakefront stadium, and the White Sox demand for public funding as well. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 5-1. White Sox lost to Toronto 5-1. Bears begin their second week of OTAs at Hallis Hall. Stanley Cup playoffs. Stars lead the Western Conference Final after topping the Oilers 5-3. The news, a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. For 55 years, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with beautiful windows and doors. Take advantage of our 10% off installation on purchases through June 30th. Book your appointment now. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says November holds some glaring issues.
Election integrity is going to be the most important thing we face in 2024. Let's face that. Let's acknowledge that. Let's just understand. Have we done enough? Well, no, of course not. But there have been a lot of election integrity efforts made in red states, in swing states. It's not going to come from Democrat legislatures. They want to cheat.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
You're in an auto accident. It's a big, unwelcome disruption in your life. To make it worse, the insurance company is being ridiculous. Injuries are involved. Damages are involved.
SettlementYouDeserve.com.
It's time.
SettlementYouDeserve.com.
Salvi Law. Michael and Samantha Salvi. It's a family law firm that will personally work hard for you to get you guessed it, the settlement you deserve. For auto accidents, you work on getting your life back and let Salvi Law get you the settlement you deserve. Experienced, trustworthy, and like a family friend that knows the law. Salvi Law gets you the settlement you deserve. Medical malpractice problem? Contact Salvi.
SettlementYouDeserve.com.
SettlementYouDeserve.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
5:39 and check of the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And it is a service of scholarships.com. Join scholarships.com, free to find accurate and vetted scholarships personalized for your student. That's scholarships.com. Kennedy outbound this morning. Stop and go traffic as you head out to O'Hare. Lots of folks fleeing, heading back home from the long holiday weekend, so you're jammed up I-90 through Mannheim. Kennedy inbound, tight and slow Foster to Montrose. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Clouds and sun, a couple of thunderstorms that could crop up late in the morning, and a high of 70. 57 right now at O'Hare, 58 at Midway, 55 in Aurora. And your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. When we talk about shootouts on the lakefront, we're not used to talking about them occurring in Winnetka, but that's exactly what happened over Memorial Day weekend.
Sure did.
I'm
sure everyone's seen it on Twitter.
Up on the lake, like Sheridan Road and Willow, there was an attempted carjacking or a car theft, I should say. There was a home break-in and a car theft, and the person in question, the father who was home, the man who talked to reporters, who got into a shootout with the would-be car thieves. I know who he is.
Oh, you do? And he's a father of 5. His daughters were in their room sleeping.
He's a partner at Kirkland and Ellis. He spoke to ABC 7. He didn't want to speak on camera, and he hasn't disclosed his name, and they haven't disclosed his name, so I'm not going to disclose his name, but I know who he is. I don't know him, but I know who he is. He did give the details, though, his account of what transpired to ABC 7.
Shortly before 5 a.m., a man woke up to hearing sounds of his car starting outside. He ran out to find 3 thieves trying to steal 2 of his cars, a Range Rover and Maserati. He says he yelled to the thieves to stop, threatening to shoot, and that's when one of the suspects began firing at him from the street. The homeowner says he took cover behind a tree and returned fire. Dozens of shell casings riddled the street and sidewalk from the shootout. The homeowner says the thieves were able to break into his home through the front office, stole the keys from the garage, and went to work from there, all while his 5 daughters were asleep inside.
So he went out and told them to stop, with gun drawn, and that's when the firefight started, and he... I don't know, they fired somewhere between 30 and 40 shots at him. So my question when I saw this story immediately was, of course, well, how long before all of the St. George Floyd apostles on the North Shore, the gun banners, target the guy who tried to stop the car thieves? How long before he is held up? How long before Kim Fox tries to figure out a way to file charges against him? This is Hale DeMar Redux. Remember the Hale DeMar case in Wilmette from 20 years ago? Gosh. Now, this is pre-Supreme Court decisions like Heller that ruled that essentially eliminated handgun bans such that were in force up and down the North Shore. Of course they were. That's what they were going to prosecute Hale DeMar because of owning weapons that you weren't allowed to own in Wilmette at the time. Remember, he defended himself with his kid's home from an intruder, from a burglar as well. So I'm just waiting for the gun ban crowd and their allies and prosecutors' offices to say something about this. And you almost had it. You almost had it like real time. In this ABC 7 report, here's a neighbor of the guy who was involved in stopping car thieves that had broken into his home. A neighbor in Winnetka, Tim Connell, he walked right up to the line.
I was surprised that somebody would fire a gun, and it does make me a little bit concerned. I never would expect it. It was very unexpected. I would probably just let them take the car and worry about it later.
Yeah. He'd probably let him take his daughters, too, while he's at it. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's the North Shore attitude that I expected. He didn't quite go so far. A little concerned. He's dipping his toe in the water. But, I know from just talking to people in and around that area that most of the people actually were like, good for this guy. He did the neighborhood a favor. I don't think those car thieves will be back at his house, and maybe they'll realize that, well, there's some of these hoity-toity types in Winnetka that are willing to defend themselves, so they're not as perhaps so soft a target as we thought, so maybe we'll take our criminal act somewhere else, and that's the point. So, one, the North Shore should be thanking Second Amendment activists, should be thanking conservatives for overturning those pro-criminal, unconstitutional gun bans that were enforced. And number two, they should be thanking this guy for being willing to defend his family first, because remember, they broke into his house. That's what triggered it. And then his property, too, both.
But what are
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Don't they have to be inside his house, though, for him to fire at them? I mean, I don't know what the rules are. But I remember taking one 8-hour class, and they said, if you're outside your house, you can't shoot them. But if you're inside your house and they come into your front door, they're on your property. But then what are the property lines? Because it sounded like they were on his property trying to steal his cars.
What are the property lines? What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying, in order for you to fire, do you have to be inside your house? Like, do they have to be in your house in order for you to fire?
You have to reasonably believe that your life or serious injury is imminent, and you're defending yourself, which is exactly what he's doing. When you have people break into your home, you tell them to stop, they open fire, you return fire, which is the progression of how that went down as far as I understand it.
Well, maybe these well-to-do suburban people should stop voting for progressives.
Right. Maybe they should.
Maybe they should.
And, and who knows? I know who this guy is, but I don't know his political leanings or any of that. I haven't pulled his voter card, which I could do, of course, his voter record. But so I don't know. Who knows? I suspect he can't be at least not the P-hat persuasion that most of those male impersonators on the North Shore mimic. But who knows? There's a real disconnect. And all of a sudden, it's anything goes for me in protecting my business, but for somebody else, that's that you've got that you still have that white man's burden attitude that is prevalent on the North Shore and anywhere there are rich leftists. And I repeat myself to a large extent. By the way, I also understand, because we had some leftists respond when I posted this on Twitter over the weekend, too, about this. Yeah. This was like racial and so on and so forth. I didn't say a word about race. It turns out what I understand, this has not been reported, but I understand that the suspects are honkies.
Well, it sounds to me like it's an inside job. If they knew where the keys were, broke into the office, maybe couldn't find the keys there, and then went into the garage. I don't know.
No, it sounds to me like it's a professional burglary operation. That's what it sounds like.
The homeowner said he didn't want to talk, but he did say that he had to do what he had to do. That's what he told them.
The other thing about this, the Winnetka police saying this is an isolated incident, that's a nice little PR job on their part. It's not an isolated incident, and I'll tell you why. One, and I'm not just talking about because some lady got stuck up and had her iPhone taken in Indian Hill across the way a couple weeks back, because there was a story, and we talked to you about it. We brought the story to you about high-end burglary rings targeting wealthy homeowners on the North Shore, and they were it's a combination of foreign and domestic. But this is not your smash and grab, nitwit. These are sophisticated operations, professional, that are part of larger criminal organizations. And I wouldn't be surprised if this hit over the weekend was part of that. I have a friend in Northfield who got robbed. Like, got in. These are not guys looking for shootouts. got in when no one was home, found where the jewelry was, cracked the safe, all that jazz. So it's not an isolated incident. And North Shore residents and other residents that perhaps of wealthy areas that perhaps have their pea hats on too tight may want to take notice of that.
And this is what it sounded like, by the way. This is Winnetka.
Yeah, okay, gunshots.
I mean, rapid gun. And the weird thing is the birds just don't seem to be bothered at all.
Well, they're not trying to shoot the bird.
No, I know, but it's
Phil in Maryville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. When that guy said, I just let him take the car, I mean, that blew my mind. That guy is a Democrat voter, and this is the reason why prices go up on everything, because people steal and there's no accountability. Food prices go up, car prices go up, insurance rates go up, and the average person cannot afford these increases. So, maybe the rich might be able to, but we got to put a stop to all this stealing. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Phil. Eduardo, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Johnny Wachter over the weekend over there in L.A. Last year they had 8,000 catalytic converters stolen, and they want to go after Toyota Prius because those are the easy ones to steal those off.
Yes. So piecing together what Eduardo said there, the soap opera actor was killed in a robbery in L.A., and he was defending a female companion that he was with. Yeah, no, that happened. Mm-hmm. The Great Disintegration is going on in all the big blue cities. This just in. And then it radiates out. Remember, the problems that occur within the corporate boundaries of the big city do not stay in the big city. They socialize their problems purposely and unintentionally, because you just can't control it. So, people have, I guess, short-term, very short memories, but we talked about carjackers, and these are the less professional variety. Anywhere there's a train stop or an L stop, they're out, they're checking cars unlocked in driveways or easy access to a garage, and they're popping cars. You heard suburban cops talking about that for significant parts of the summer last year. Don't expect that to change. Joe in Arlington Heights.
Hey, good morning. I heard several weeks ago that only about 3% or less than 3% of people have registered their firearms under the new law. That law also included a magazine capacity limit, I think, to 10 rounds. If this fellow had something with a typical 12-round magazine, they may try to prosecute him to the full extent of that law.
Yeah. Well, right. Thanks for the call, Joe. That's my point. When will the same? I mean, the people in charge now, as compared to 20 years ago in Hale DeMar, I mean, the people in charge now make the people that were in charge 20 years ago, who were left and were pro gun banning, make them look like Charlton Heston, Kim Fox. This is Cook County. Winnetka's Cook County. Yep. Kim Fox, if she has an angle in for some rich partner at a big law firm in the city.
Yeah, he better lawyer up now.
I mean, and the residents 20 years ago. I mean, 20 years ago, there were some sensible people on the North Shore. They were quickly dwindling. Well, think how much atrophy there's been in the subsequent 20 years. The guy who defended his family and his property may be one of the last of the Mohicans there. Ron, Southside.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. The only unfortunate thing about this story that he was unable to shoot them. That's the only thing that would really make me happy about this story. And the guy that said that they should have let him, he sounded like a wimpy coward.
Yeah.
Period. Mm-hmm. Okay. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for the call. Right. I would just let him take the cars. Yeah, I get it. The admonition is, your life is more important than a car, but it wasn't about the car. They were in his house.
Right. They came into his house.
And I assume that neighbor knew that, or he certainly should have known that before he started carrying on about, let him have the cars. And these effete peahats in places like Winnetka and the North Shore generally. I mean, you think this is a negotiation? What do you think you're dealing with? Oh, yeah, let's be reasonable about it.
Let's sit down and talk. Let's have a beer summit. Yeah.
They are just so committed to appeasing all of the societal ills they would not otherwise tolerate if it was in their household. Charles Murray had it nailed in Coming Apart. They do not preach what they practice, which is why, and they know it. They don't do it because they're cowards. And that's the biggest indictment I think you can say of somebody like Tim Connell, the neighbor who wanted to go on camera so bad. Well, good. You're on camera, Tim. Thanks for representing all that's wrong with places like the North Shore. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Oh, it's been actually really good. I'm 81 years old. I'm a retired nurse, and I have found, I've taken it for about 5 years, I do feel better. At first, there wasn't a drastic change, but I found it really has made, a difference in my lifestyle. It does improve our quality of life.
Make a splash into summer with Balance of Nature supplements. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Hurry, this offer is only available while supplies last. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this limited time offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing presented by Signature Bank. And this year, AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responders and military heroes, including homeless veterans, and to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Wednesday, June 19th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing package, which includes 25 one-minute commercials between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. And we also have twosomes available in addition to foursomes. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Control Point Engineering, Waukegan Roofing, and by Crosscom Public Adjusters.
This is Seth Liebson for townhall.com. A profile in courage, a political leader doing the morally right thing irrespective of political considerations, often in opposition to his own party's political interests. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is a profile in courage, a profile in character, leadership, and a deep moral sense. The history of the Jewish vote in America is one of overwhelming support for the Democrats and the Democratic Party. Not since 1980 has a Republican candidate for president even approached 40% of the Jewish vote. More recently, the average percent of the Jewish vote for a Republican candidate has been lower than 30%. The highest elected Republican in the country went to Columbia University earlier this month to speak out publicly against Jew hatred, meeting with Jewish students, defending them, and discussing how seriously he and his party's leadership were taking the rise of Jew hatred in America, especially on our college campuses. This deserves far more appreciation. Speaker Johnson is a good man. I'm Seth Liebson.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Brandon Tatum weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by Charlie Kirk at 7. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
More fun with President Trump on the trail. He trolls libertarians at their own national convention. 6:06.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
United Airlines aborts a takeoff at O'Hare due to an engine fire yesterday. Shootout during an attempted vehicle theft in Winnetka. 5-year-old girl killed in a near West Side shooting. Motorcyclist was killed in an I-90 crash in Kane County. The Fighting Illini playing in the NCAA baseball tournament this week. Cubs fall to the Brew Crew. White Sox drop their opener against the Jays. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
It's closing time in New York. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, at the Trump trial, where this morning the defense goes first with closing arguments.
Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, expected to lay out the case here in this trial to the jurors that, in his view, there is no case. Blanche will hammer away at the credibility of Michael Cohen, reminding the juror of Cohen's long list of admitted lies through the years.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court where Cohen is at the heart of the case over payments the former president reimbursed him for Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet about an alleged Trump affair before the 2016 election.
Prosecutor Joshua Steinglass is expected to give the closing for the prosecution. He will tell the jury that Cohen was telling the truth when he testified that Trump was behind the alleged scheme to falsely classify the payments of legal expenses.
Israel has launched more airstrikes in Rafah, and Palestinian officials say another 16 people were killed the day after 45 civilians died in an airstrike that set a tent camp on fire. Israel's prime minister called it a tragic mishap.
The Israeli military, facing international condemnation, has opened a rare probe into the incident. The United States is weighing in on the strikes, calling on Israel to use restraint.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. It's stormy again this morning in Texas, in areas that are already twisted apart. Fox Weather's Max Gordon's in Sanger.
We had some hail falling on us. The vehicle was rocking earlier because of the strong winds, about 60-mile-per-hour gusts. Right now, though, our vehicle is parked in the middle of a neighborhood that was destroyed by an EF3 tornado back on Saturday night. 7 people were killed here in North Texas, 100 injured.
Storms are blamed for at least 23 deaths and a lot of destruction there, and in Arkansas, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Virginia. Bad weather also delayed more than 8,000 flights yesterday after a record number of passengers went through airports Friday for the Memorial Day weekend, nearly 3 million. There are about 600 flights canceled or delayed this morning. America's listening to Fox News.
57 degrees, partly cloudy skies at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. And topping our news this morning, no one hurt after a United Airlines flight aborted after takeoff at O'Hare yesterday. The incident happened after the engine of that plane bound for Seattle caught fire. It was an Airbus A320 aircraft that was towed to the gate. Passengers got off. Now, this heavily used aircraft has seen a string of failures in recent years. The FAA temporarily halted arriving planes at O'Hare. An investigation is underway following a home office break-in and then a brazen attempted vehicle theft that resulted in a shootout in Winnetka. Police say 3 were trying to steal cars yesterday morning in the 400 block of Sheridan Road after breaking into that home when they were interrupted by the home owner, who shouted at the robbery crew and only then exchanged gunfire with the offenders.
I think that there's a real problem in the justice system. Not paying the consequences is really not doing anybody in our society a service.
No one was injured. No arrests have been made. A military veteran assaulted outside of a South Loop grocery store last week spoke out at a press conference on Sunday. The victim, Kevin Chin, saying he suffered injuries to his head and body. 41-year-old served with the U.S. Marines in Iraq. Chin, along with community activists and Asian American neighbors, described the attack as a hate crime. Dr. Kim T.
Kevin survived the Iraq war, but he almost got killed at home right here in Chicago.
Chicago police have not determined a motive yet in that case. Chicago police are still searching for whoever is responsible for the deadly shooting of a 5-year-old girl on the city's near west side.
As a district commander and as a police officer, it really hits home.
8th District Commander Brian Sprain says Rain Ware was shot and killed inside of a parked vehicle in the 200 block of South Campbell. Her father also wounded in that shooting. Ware was from the central Illinois town of Lincoln. where the Lincoln mayor this morning, Tracy Welch, called the child's death a senseless tragedy. The long Memorial Day holiday saw at least 10 killed and 32 wounded, including 4 homicides on Memorial Day alone. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 5-1. White Sox lost to Toronto 5-1. The Bears begin their second week of OTAs. And Hall of Fame basketball center and TV commentator Bill Walton is dead at the age of 71 after a long battle with cancer. The news service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. If your home or business has an insurance claim, Crosscom will help you get what you need and have coming to you. They've helped thousands. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk doesn't see things going exactly to plan.
They thought that May was going to be really strong for the regime. There is a backlash to everything they have been doing, to mass immigration, to easy money, to hyperinflation, to reckless war, to the militarization of our legal apparatus.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-540-7158. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-540-7158. That's 800-540-7158. Again, 800-540-7158.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of scholarships.com. Join scholarships.com free to find accurate and vetted scholarships personalized for your student at scholarships.com. The Ike getting some attention this morning. Inbound, already 45 minutes, 390 to the old post office. Outbounders, you've got an accident. Left lane block. It's between Mannheim and Wolf Road this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. The latest this morning with Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, shower and thunderstorm from late morning on today, high 70. Passing shower this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, low tonight 54. Partly sunny for tomorrow, the high 67. Sunny Thursday, the high again at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
57 at O'Hare, 59 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Just one thing per Mike Scott's newscast talking about the Illini baseball team making the College World Series.
Yeah.
Well, in more important news, the Illini golf team comes into the college playoffs as the number 1 seed. They play Georgia Tech.
Oh.
Number 8 seed. But yeah, Mike Small's
there,
Illini. Mike Small's done an incredible job, the Illini golf program, and it continues. So
good for him.
So that's some exciting Illini news. We don't get to offer too much exciting news about college these days, even college sports. So, all right. So you got a couple of Illini teams to pay attention to. Also, just a postscript on our conversation about the shootout in Winnetka. A buddy of mine told me they were circulating the idea of setting up a GoFundMe page to buy the guy more ammo who opened fire on those car thieves after they opened fire on him. I like that idea.
Yeah.
GoFundMe page is more ammo for people who fight back against the lawlessness that the political class has unleashed on the streets of, Chicagoland. And some outlying areas, too, by the way, have crime problems, even outside of Chicagoland. All right, so President Trump was was at the National Libertarian Convention. He's trying to win all the belts, trying to consolidate all of the factions within sort of the center-right movement, and libertarians are a bit spread across the spectrum because a lot of them are libertarians because they're libertines, meaning they want no restraint and exercise none. This was a moment when he called for the delegates to nominate Trump as their presidential candidate. Take a listen.
The Libertarian Party should nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Maybe you don't want to win. Thank you, D-Roy. Thank you. No, only do that if you want to win. If you want to lose, don't do that. Keep getting your 3% every 4 years. The reasons for doing so, policy and politics, are as solid as the Hope Diamond.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. Because I was wondering, Dan, after he had such a wonderful kick-butt rally in the Bronx on Thursday, why he would go to the Libertarians, because he was mercilessly jeered the entire time.
Yeah, by some. I think he makes the appeal to anybody that would potentially be in his camp. It's the same way he sort of makes the appeal to RFK Jr. voters one way or the other. So either vote for me or vote for Biden. I'm fine with that too. Just either if you're not. I'm sorry. If you're thinking about RFK, then vote for Biden. Pushing them off. Just taking angles at these splinter groups, at these third-party factions to peel off what he can or to push off of Biden what he can. That's all.
Well, he did
and it's not a bad play.
Yeah, he did make a promise to them, like, if you vote for me, I will give you.
That is why I'm committing to you tonight that I will put a libertarian in my cabinet and also libertarians in senior posts.
So it's a split decision there.
Pretty good. That's pretty big. Or you can keep going the way you have for the last...
Yeah, you can keep getting your 1% and being completely irrelevant. And it's a split decision. There's some libertarians that are a little bit more realpolitik, and there's some that don't even believe in a cabinet. So they don't care about a cabinet post. But Mike Lee who is, perhaps the closest thing in Congress outside of Rand Paul to a libertarian, and Rand Paul would be the obvious choice for a libertarian in his cabinet, and a good choice.
Great.
Mike Lee spoke before Trump at the convention, and maybe that was part of what got Trump there, and he was very pleased that Trump spoke at the convention. So, so you take some heat from some of the iconoclastic Randians in the audience, and maybe you pull some support at the same time, because there are libertarians that are on the right. I mean, Rand Paul is a good example that you want to appeal to, and so I think that's what Trump was doing. But really, the story continues to be through the Memorial Day weekend, not this little jaunt over to the Libertarian National Convention, but that rally he held in the Bronx last week. And it really hit them, meaning the left, where it hurts, such that, there's a little bit of a melting down going on, because the Trump fear, the fear Trump as the basic value proposition for reelecting Joe Biden, it just isn't working. It's not working to the level that it needs to in order to drag Mr. 10% across the finish line. And let me give you an example of the meltdown that has been ongoing for some time, and it is reaching last stage at this point. Serpent Head, Mr. Mary Matlin, James Carville is completely out in the wilderness now. He's it's hard to describe how far afield he is when you hear this recommendation of what Democrats should be attempting to do to focus people's attention on why not Trump.
Ask them one question. Did Keith Schiller steal Trump's medical records from his internist? What? And where are these medical records? Prove that you're fair. Ask them, and keep asking them. And the same thing for the Biden campaign, because you and I are not stupid. We know why he stole the records.
What?
All right? Let me put it this way. We have a strong suspicion is he stole the records because he had the goddamn clap.
What?
And look up, go to the Mayo Clinic or WebMD or whatever. I'll get a rash and I'll look it up on the computer. Go look up how insidious a disease that secondary syphilis can be. I'm not sure he's not having sex anymore because his may have fallen off from all the VD he has.
What?
Mary, you better get James. He's on the YouTube again. Mary, James is on the YouTube again, ranting and raving. So that's the play, is to launch an investigation into who has possession of Trump's medical records to identify whether or not he has secondary syphilis, whether or not his penis is still on, and whether or not he is suffering from the mental defects associated with untreated syphilis.
Oh, they've lost their mind.
That's the big play.
That's not we can't get him on any of these court hearings, but we're going to get him on that. He's always been transparent about his health records.
Have you, Mr. Trump, isn't it true that you suffer from secondary syphilis? I can't wait for Dana Bash to ask that in the June 27th debate. Yeah. Do you now, or have you ever suffered from secondary syphilis? I mean, why not? This is like Steele dossier stuff. I guess they figured it almost worked the first time. Maybe the alleged missing medical records that were moved or stolen from his internist by his bodyguard. That's who this Keith Schiller is that he's referencing. I mean, talk about deep dive, arcane references. But that's where it's at for the left. So when James Carville is howling at the moon about Trump having VD, probably means they're running out of substantive ideas to change the trajectory of this race. I mean, there's still a couple of things that can happen. One, is the Manhattan trial, and the other.
And closing arguments start today.
The other is the debates, and then the third is the mechanics, the vote by mail, the ballot integrity programs down the stretch and on election night. Corey Woodlawn, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, morning, Dan and Amy. You know, the Libertarian Party, I think, is completely gone. I mean, I'm a registered Libertarian, but it is not the party of Milton Friedman anymore. And locally, they're a complete joke. I think they just need to, the real conservatives need to move out of that party, and that party needs to go the way of the dodo. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Corey. Well, right. The guy they did nominate, this Chase Oliver guy, is for open borders and sees no problem with drag queen story hours. Sees nothing sexual about it. Yeah, that's sort of the libertarian I'm talking about. That is somebody who is really a man of the left, and he just hasn't sort of fully, he's still in the larval stage of moving from this libertarian kind of, utopian belief system to being a full-on leftist who's going to create heaven on earth. That's the sort, and that just, thankfully, that sort of person, the Chase Oliver type person, does not have an audience. Does not have an audience. Is not persuasive. Does not have a following. Right, that's true. But just going back to the Bronx rally, like I said, it's hitting them where they hurt, and it is when you have Kathy Hochul, New York governor, go on with June 27th debate moderator Jake Tapper, just platforming Kathy Hochul to give the canned response to the Trump Bronx rally.
None of their business.
Well, I'll tell you, it won't make a difference at all, Jake, and that is for Donald Trump to be the ringleader of and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx.
Clowns.
New York will never, ever support Donald Trump for president. We know him better than anyone, and that means we understand what he's all about is just for himself. So this state will go solidly behind Joe Biden for president, as it has in the past. So he wants to spend his time doing these made-up fake rallies and pretending their support here. Be my guest, because while you're doing that, Donald Trump, Joe Biden's out there on the other side making sure he's delivering for all Americans. And so go ahead, spend all your time you want in New York, because we'll be with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's out there winning over the rest of the battleground states.
It's none of your damn business, woman. I mean, my God. It was great. And I was with a bunch of, Georgia Tech New Yorkers, and they knew, he brought these rappers, Chef G up and Sleepy Hollow. And I mean, these kids were so excited that Trump went to New York. And I mean, had a rally in New York and brought the rappers on.
So it was a fake rally with Trump and his clowns, his deplorables, his insurrectionists. It's funny because some in the D.C. press corps couldn't help but have a different impression of the rally goers who are actually on site. I mean, it's this rare moment where to sort of give them, to give themselves some sense of legitimacy, they don't follow the approved script from the White House. They don't serve as the White House comm shop, as Karine Jean-Pierre's Girl Friday. And I'm talking about NBC's Dasha Burns, who had this description of her experience at that rally, much to the chagrin, I suspect, of New York Governor Kathy Hochul.
A little counterintuitive, but I did talk to folks in that crowd who themselves were immigrants. A lot of folks from the Dominican Republic. A lot of people that I talked to were born and raised in the Bronx. For some of them, this was their first ever Trump event. And when you talk to immigrants that are going to these Trump rallies, they agree with his message on immigration. Their point is, look, I did it the right way. I came here legally. And especially those living in New York right now, the sentiment I heard from a lot of voters was, we have these immigrants right now that the city is taken care of in a way that I've never felt taken care of by this city. It was a large crowd and a diverse crowd. Yes, there were some people from Westchester, from New Jersey, but there were a lot of people there that were from the Bronx, Black and Latino voters that are sick of how much they're paying for gas and groceries, that are frustrated with the situation at the border, and that find President Biden's rhetoric when it comes to minority voters a little bit offensive.
And then she lost her job.
Yeah. Not yet. Not yet.
Good for her. Well, that's the truth. She's just describing what was, how people feel and the people that were there.
Yeah. It's the momentum, the energy thing, the belief that that Trump is going to win. That has a that sort of has a certain self-fulfilling prophecy aspect to it when people believe that Trump is going to win, when people don't believe that Joe Biden can put in the fight to win. Now, again, there are some wild cards. We may have one of them turned over before the week is out with final arguments in that Manhattan trial. But yeah, that they're seeing some things. And part of this is very much Bill Maher-esque in terms of warning the Democrats to get better and get better quickly, or this thing is not going to be salvageable. Because, of course, that's what they ultimately want to see is a win. And they're trying to say, the bridge is out. The bridge is out. Look ahead. Mike in Kaukauna, Wisconsin.
Yeah, good morning, Dan, Amy. Thanks for taking my call. Killing it again today. Great show. But I think more important, what would be more important than finding Trump's medical records is finding his penis.
Well, that would be the smoking penis, as it were, wouldn't it? To Jim Carville's point about whether or not his penis is still attached because of all the VD that he has. Jim Carville. Speaking of somebody who may be suffering from secondary syphilis, but that would assume that somebody other than Mary Matlin would ever have sex with him, which is not a prospect I want to think about very much. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hi, this is Maria and Diane with the Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of App Properties Christie's International. We wanted to tell you why we placed number 9 in Illinois as the top producing real estate team and number 1 in Arlington Heights.
In the past 9 years, we assisted 1,975 buyers and sellers achieve the American dream of home ownership, selling $720 million in real estate.
If you are considering making a move, we can help you get the most value for your home in today's market.
Maria and I have over 50 years of combined experience. We take a conservative approach in protecting your asset and will give you the direction and professional advice needed to achieve a successful transaction.
Our pledge to you is to have your best interest at heart. So get the special attention you deserve with our white glove service from our city division to the suburbs.
Contact us for a free, no-obligation market analysis at thedmregroup.com. That's thedmregroup.com.
Information verification, MRED LLC, 2013 to 2022. Real Trends Large Teams 2022.
Chronic pain blows. You're miserable, and guess what? The people around you are miserable. Hi, Amy Jacobson here. Don't suffer any longer if you have knee, shoulder, back, or hip pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Folks, I'm talking lasting joint pain relief. There's no surgery, there's no drugs, there's no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. So you can walk, run, hike, play golf, pick a ball, and move again pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a pioneer in regenerative medicine. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation, now open Saturdays. The number is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with My Name Clay as the promo code at lifelock.com.
Smoke fumes and dust are a nuisance your business can do without, causing health hazards for employees and possible EPA problems for your company. If you need help cleaning up these problems, call a company that has the expertise and capability to help.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. I've got over 40 years of personal experience in dealing with smoke fumes and dust emissions, and I can help you eliminate these problems from your plant. Contact Vans for a no-cost evaluation of your system, and we will size equipment, design hoods and ductwork for a complete turnkey solution.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest levels to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to schedule your ventilation inspection today. That's 833-VANSIND. You can also visit them online at vansindustrial.com. That's VANSindustrial.com. Vans Industrial, working safe since 1964.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Did the big guy, Mr. 10%, President Biden, did he Frank Pantangeli his former daughter-in-law in advance of Hunter's trials starting this month at 6:36?
Now let's head into the newsroom. Mike Scott, how was your daughter's graduation?
It was fabulous.
Good.
Everything went well. Everything went clean. No interruptions. We even got to throw our hats they got to throw their hats this year, which normally they don't do.
Really?
Kind of
Any
fun.
beach balls going around?
No,
Yeah, right.
No beach balls.
Okay.
They're banned,
I know.
among
Sometimes
other
people
things.
Don't listen.
6:31 on AM 560, The Answer. And topping our news this morning, closing arguments start today in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in New York. You've been talking about it with Dan and Amy this morning. That means deliberations could start as soon as tomorrow. Much of Texas and the central Gulf Coast will be facing some dangerous heat in the coming days. Parts of the region are still dealing with the aftermath of severe storms. The UN Security Council set to meet today following a deadly Israeli military strike in the southern Gazan city of Rafah.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now says Sunday's mistake. The attack at a tent camp housing displaced Palestinians killed at least 45 people. Israel's military initially called it a precise airstrike on Hamas compound, but opened an investigation once details of the deadly strike emerged.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer says a statement from the National Security Council says Israel, quote, must take every precaution possible to protect civilians, end quote. Well, a 19-year-old man is lucky to be alive after tumbling down a 400-foot canyon in Washington state. In Mason County, the sheriff there says the man was walking off trail along steep terrain under a bridge when he slipped and fell over the weekend. Police say it's amazing he walked away with minor injuries. Chicago police officers shot and killed a suspect with a knife and wounded a man he was attacking on the west side late last night. Officers say it happened in the 300 block of South Cicero when police say they saw a man attempting to stab another man in the street. An investigation continues following a home office break-in and then a brazen attempted vehicle theft that resulted in a shootout in Winnetka with a homeowner and a robbery crew.
I think that there's a real problem in the justice system. Not paying the consequences is really not doing anybody in our society a service.
No one was injured. Two of the suspects fled in a vehicle. One ran off. No arrests in that situation have been made. Lawmakers in Springfield still working on the state budget after Democrats in charge blew through their self-imposed deadline last week Friday, and no action taken on the Bears' request for public funding for a new lakefront stadium, or no hint of answering a White Sox demand for public funding. A motorcyclist is dead this morning following a crash on I-90 in Kane County. The accident happened last night along I-90 near Randall Road. It remains under investigation. Craig Counsell's homecoming in Milwaukee spoiled as the Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 5-1. White Sox lost to the Blue Jays 5-1. Fighting Illini back in the NCAA baseball tournament for the first time since 2019. A 3 seed in the Lexington Regional. The Fighting Illini go up against a very good Indiana State team on Friday night. The news is a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. For 55 years, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with beautiful windows and doors. Book your appointment now. Take advantage of our 10% off installation purchases through June 30th. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum says we need to fix our priorities.
We are dropping trillions of dollars on the streets of America right now to build back up our roads and our bridges, our sidewalks.
We're dropping trillions of dollars to build back our streets. Man, ain't nobody give up about these streets. Fix the economy, woman. I could run over 16 potholes on the way to get groceries that are reasonably priced.
The Officer Tatum Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Oh, it's been actually really good. I'm 81 years old. I'm a retired nurse, and I have found, I've taken it for about 5 years, I do feel better. At first, there wasn't a drastic change, but I found it really has made, a difference in my lifestyle. It does improve our quality of life.
Make a splash into summer with Balance of Nature supplements. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Hurry, this offer is only available while supplies last. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this limited time offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at Navage.com.
6:37, and let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of Dell Technologies. Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs. Exceptional prices await you at Dell.com/deals. Eden's at 38 Lake Hook Road into the junction. The Kennedy already at 1 hour. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike outbound, they've removed an accident out of your way between Manheim and Wolf Road. Dan Ryan's stop and go inbound already, 95th up through 71st. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Clouds and sun with a couple of thunderstorms that could crop up late in the morning with a high near 70. Some showers overnight, otherwise partly cloudy, and 54. 57 right now. Your next news update comes your way at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, only the
biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. These are difficult days for the Biden hillbilly crime family from Delaware. Obviously, you've got the vagaries of the re-election going on. And then baby boy Hunter, the smartest man that Joe Biden knows, is facing these trials. And boy, it's just running interference with the program that the Democrat Socialists had to have the summer and fall full up with Trump trials. And we're not going to have that. We're going to have 2 Hunter Biden trials up next, one on the gun charge and one on tax evasion. And, look, obviously we all have great empathy, almost as much empathy as Jeffrey Goldberg at The Atlantic, who acts as a wonderful spokeshuman for the D.C. press corps and their attitude towards what has befallen the big guy.
This has been a psychologically devastating, long journey for Joe Biden, watching his son get into all kinds of trouble. We're heading into a difficult period for the president, too. I mean, you're exactly right. We thought that this season would be filled with trial news, but we didn't realize it was going to be Hunter Biden.
Right.
Yeah, see how despondent he is? He's almost as upset about it as the big guy. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Next thing, they're going to admit that the Hunter Biden laptop is real.
That's going to be in evidence in the gun trial. And here's the other thing that's going to be in evidence, an evidentiary witness. Her name is Haley, Haley Biden. She was the woman that was passed around from Bo to, passed herself around from Bo to Hunter.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I know, it's true. She was grieving.
And she got a visit from the big guy.
Oh, she did?
Over the weekend.
Oh.
8 days before Hunter Biden's trial is scheduled to start, and she is a witness for the prosecution because she is the one that allegedly disposed of the gun.
Oh, that's right. She put it in the garbage can behind that elementary school or near the school.
But so I mean,
well, what do you
Joe
think they were
Biden
talking about?
visiting her?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously it's very innocent. The official story was this is, I think, 3 or 4 days before the anniversary of Bo's death. So, being the wonderful person that Joe Biden is, he just decided to stop in and check on her. Why not a phone call? It's a face-to-face business. You know what I mean? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
I'd love to hear what you think they discussed. I'm sure he wasn't, asking her what she's going to wear in the upcoming trial.
Well, I mean, again, they didn't talk about the trial. That's what we're told, and that's good enough for me. Yeah. So she was in a relationship with Hunter at the time of the alleged gun crimes, and is expected to testify against him, along with Hunter's ex-wife, Kathleen Buell. Yeah.
This is a family affair.
If that was Trump visiting a material witness against his son in a criminal proceeding, you think it would be received the same way?
Sounds like interference to me, yeah.
The old...
just like Bill Clinton meeting, what's her name? On the
Loretta Lynch
on the tarmac in Arizona, claiming that he was golfing in Arizona in August. Nobody golfs.
2016, while his wife was allegedly under investigation by the Department of Justice, not seriously, of course, but allegedly, give the appearance that we have a justice system that's not based on politics but the rule of law. And again, Bill Clinton just stopped in to say hi.
Just
old
talk
friends.
about the grandchildren, remember?
So it's a hi for Loretta Lynch, Bill Clinton. It's a hi from Uncle Joe to former daughter-in-law Haley a few days before the trial. I mean, if you want to be cynical and call into question the timing of all these things, well, I mean, you just don't appreciate what wonderful family men Joe Biden and Bill Clinton are. That's your problem. What a great friend they are, too. What great friends they are to their colleagues, those people who work for them.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could also reach us on our text line. It is up and running, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
In a related Biden hillbilly news, James Biden associate. Remember Jim? Don't forget about old brother Jim. He's as much of a kleptocrat trading off the Biden name and influence peddling, associated with that. That's how they make money.
It's so creepy, too.
As is Hunter. An associate of his, a guy named Keaton Langston, is pleading guilty to $51 million in Medicare fraud. Former business associate of brother Jim, the second smartest man that the big guy knows. He has not been accused of wrongdoing. Of course, Jim hasn't. No, you stay away from the blast zone there. This records show that he was involved in this healthcare company that this Keaton Langston founded, but before he connected with AmeriCorps, which provided him with $600,000 in loans in 2018, and he allegedly vowed to use his political connections to secure foreign investors in this outfit. James passed $200,000 of the funds received to Joe Biden in an alleged loan repayment, one of those wonderful loan repayments. There's communiques between the two, but I guess brother Jim, was not involved in the actual decision making because just like son Hunter, baby boy Hunter, they don't have any particular abilities. So they're just there to influence peddle. So, of course, they're not making day-to-day decisions because they have no idea how any of these businesses actually operate or could conceive of how they would operate. They're just there to say, hey, this guy running a healthcare company is my friend, give him business. Or this guy over here, Devin Archer was the business guy. Bobolinsky was the business guy. Hunter Biden was I have Chinese communist friends that'll invest in our private equity fund. I sit on an energy company I don't know anything about. So, this an entree into, my forays into the energy with CEFC and Chinese communists, and then we'll bring Bobolinsky to run it. They don't know anything, so they can't commit the criminal acts other than the shaking down or the selling out. And whether those, and those are potentially technical violations of like Foreign Agent Registration Act, but not the sort of fraud on a mass scale that they platform, as apparently Jim Biden did with his good buddy Keaton Langston. So he walks on that, you see.
Dan and Amy text message. If Hunter is convicted, could Biden pardon him, especially upon leaving office?
He could. Yeah. Federal crimes. Gun crime and tax evasion, sure. And, of course, he should. Pardons all around. Actually, on the issue of pardons, it was interesting. Going back to Trump at the Libertarian Convention, I do appreciate how aggressive he is being in the direction of the Department of Justice, since it has completely delegitimized itself. I'm talking about both DOJ and FBI, particularly with respect to January 6th. I appreciate how aggressive he's being, and he really doesn't care where the audience is. Take a listen.
The moment I win the election, I will appoint a special task force to rapidly review the cases of every political prisoner who has been unjustly persecuted by the Biden administration so that I can sign their pardons or commutations on day one.
And that it is not limited to J6 to the quote unquote otherwise peaceful protesters on J6, but it certainly would include them, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. I like that he is unabashed, that he is bringing that message wherever he goes, and people want to say, people like the D.C. press corps, and they want to try to use this to further their Trump fear campaign. He's basically saying, go ahead. It's not going to work. And interestingly, he's onto something. He's got good instincts on this. The New York Times, the Gray Lady, one of the chief propaganda outlets of the left, of course, is despondent over this survey they posted over the weekend. They asked 1,000 registered voters, thinking back to when Trump was president, what is the one thing do you remember most about the Donald Trump presidency?
What was it?
And they want it to be January 6th.
Right.
5% of those responded January 6th. 5% of respondents. Trump's behavior, 40%. The economy, 24%. Immigration, 9%. J6, foreign policy, COVID, all basically the same in low single digits. That stuff is over. People live in the present. And no matter how you want to resuscitate it as some imminent, as it being an imminent threat to the republic, D.C. almost fell that day, and that he poses this existential threat to the republic prospectively, it's not selling. It's not selling. That's not going to be the path to victory for Joe Biden. Nope. They better figure out something else. And I don't think Jim Carville's he has secondary syphilis and his penis fell off is going to be the path either. But you go ahead with that. Give it a roll. Stick with it. Joe in East Dundee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, it's Joe.
Yep, go ahead, Joe.
Is it? Okay, is this Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Hey. Yeah. Whatever happened to the Tara Reid thing? I mean, could not Congress provide her Secret Service protection to have her come and testify? I mean, all this stuff going on with Stormy Daniels, and we're just going to drop this? I watched the hearing. It was very compelling, I mean, and she ran to Russia because she was in fear for her life,
That's what she said. Thanks for the call, Joe. I mean, there's no criminal proceeding, so it's a little bit different than Stormy Daniels. Not that there should be a criminal proceeding over it, but there is one. So, you have to have a pathway to adjudicate these things. And, there is not one available with respect to Tara Reid, even if you believe her. They're better at lawfare. Marty, Naperville.
Good morning. Great show as usual. Question I have is, why do these Bidens keep lending each other $200,000? How many? My brother or sister answered every time he turned around, and somebody lent somebody $200,000. I just don't get it.
That's what those Delaware hillbillies do. They're a tight-knit group, And Hunter, in particular, has a lot of mouths to feed. Greg in Jefferson Park.
Hey, good morning. A few things. First of all, James Carville is what happens when first cousins procreate for 3 generations in a row.
Yeah.
This poor woman, you talk about somebody, she's probably the number one person in this country to have a car accident, get food poisoning or whatever and die from it. And somebody needs to write a book. I've heard that physicists talk about when you get inside a black hole, the laws of physics don't work anymore. It's like some crazy thing. And the Democratic Party, when it comes to coincidences, the laws of probability and statistics don't work because there's way too many coincidences that make no sense and are probabilistically impossible. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Greg. How dare you impute anything but the noblest of intentions? I mean, we're talking about paragons of virtue like Joe Biden and Bill Clinton, and you're going to call into question their honesty when it comes to a timely visit to a former daughter-in-law or a timely tarmac encounter with an attorney general. Oh, the cynicism. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
At Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, we honor traditions, celebrate faith, and cherish memories. Take an active role in establishing your legacy for future generations by pre-planning your final arrangements today. Alleviate your loved ones of future financial burden. Lock in today's prices and take advantage of interest-free financing and no hidden fees. Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
Chicagoland certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns discusses taxes in retirement.
Most people are paying more in taxes and keeping less of their money to live and do what they enjoy. That's why we've put out the retirement tax bill calculator online. You can see with your own eyes just how much you might be overpaying. It's a valuable tool, $500 value, but we made it free for you to view and run your own numbers at MVPCFP.com. That's MVPCFP.com.
To run your retirement tax bill calculator, go to MVPCFP.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC.
Chronic pain blows. You're miserable, and guess what? The people around you are miserable. Hi, Amy Jacobson here. Don't suffer any longer if you have knee, shoulder, back, or hip pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Folks, I'm talking lasting joint pain relief. There's no surgery, there's no drugs, there's no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. So you can walk, run, hike, play golf, pickleball, and move again pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a pioneer in regenerative medicine. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation, now open Saturdays. The number is 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Nature is quite the artist, wouldn't you agree? The pigments that nature uses to paint its fruits and vegetables aren't there just for visual appeal. Those colorings are also essential to our nutrition. Hi, my name is Vincent Clemens, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I found that the vast majority of my clients rarely got enough servings of fruits and vegetables. Balance of Nature dietary supplements can provide more of the concentrated fruit and vegetable ingredients and these pigments. Please remember that consuming a balanced diet should be your first priority in improving your health. Nonetheless, if you're considering a nutritional supplement, then I highly recommend Balance of Nature.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement while supplies last as a preferred customer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
That sound means it's time for In-Depth History with Frank, the history teacher from Arlington Heights, because there's nothing new in this world. It's just the history we don't know. Take it away, Frank.
Good morning. Although I disagree with his economic thoughts, one man who was inexorable in the promotion of his ideas was civil rights activist Bayard Rustin. A West Indian black American born in 1912, during the Depression, he was drawn to the colorblind attitude of the Communist Party and became an organizer while also relentlessly working against Jim Crow laws on the side. But when Operation Barbarossa commenced in 1941, the American communists, so as not to upset the U.S. defense sector that was needed to thwart Hitler, pulled back from demands for an equal opportunity in these industries. Rustin, though, resigned rather than give up on his integrationist ideas and joined Union leader A. Philip Randolph and his Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters in pushing these issues, and they were ultimately successful in getting FDR to sign an executive order banning discrimination in defense and government employment. Rustin continued to face challenges during and after the war, but he persevered, later became an instrumental part of the civil rights movement, and advised the young Martin Luther King on the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington in 1963. Ronald Reagan was also an ideological hedgehog, although railing against communism his entire political career. A banner of bold, unmistakable colors with no pale pastels was his brand. Donald Trump is too, although less intellectual. His well-received recent rally in the Bronx is an indicator that the tide may be turning. But like Rustin and Reagan, he must persist and expand these rallies to other urban centers, especially if he wants a decisive win that can serve as a mandate for what will need to be a modern-day cleaning of the Augean stables in Washington, D.C.
Nice Reagan impersonation, and also use of one of Hercules' how many labors, Frank?
I thought it was 12, wasn't it?
It is 12. It's 12. Yeah, it's 12.
Yeah.
And cleaning of the Ugging stables was number?
I forget, but I know he used 2 rivers to clean it out. So maybe they'll have to reconfigure the Potomac and then one of those other rivers in the area and just flood D.C.
I like the modern day application. Yeah. All right. Maybe next time when we have a little bit more time, we'll see who can name more of Hercules' 12 labors, which would be a great time for us and nobody else.
I'm going to bet Amy's going to win, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
all over that. How did you
all
know,
right.
Frank?
Frank from Arlington Heights, thank you as always. Well done. Coming up at 7:07. Harrison Butker not backing down. 7:07.
And later, an update on that Princeton hunger strike. We have movement, but now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A shootout during an attempted vehicle theft in Winnetka. Cubs fall to the Brew Crew while the White Sox drop their opener to the Jays. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
One last chance to sway the jury. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Closing arguments start this morning at former President Trump's trial in New York.
Trump's lawyer, Todd Blanche, expected to hammer away at the credibility of Michael Cohen and the fact that Mr. Cohen stole $60,000 from his boss. And then there's the testimony of lawyer Robert Costello. Blanche will remind the jury that Costello says Cohen told him that Trump had nothing to do with the payment to Stormy Daniels.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court where the prosecutors expected to say Cohen's telling the truth despite his past lies. That the former president directed payments to Daniels to keep an alleged Trump affair quiet before the 2016 election and falsified records reimbursing Cohen.
And he's also expected to tell them that the documents and the testimony of others will all corroborate Cohen that he was telling the truth.
Now, we could just be days away from a verdict that President Biden's planning to react to.
President Biden has made subtle references to his opponent's legal issues on the campaign trail, but this would be different. Politico is reporting, quote, Biden intends to initially address the verdict in a White House setting, not a campaign one, to show his statement isn't political.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. Another 16 Palestinians reported dead in new Israeli airstrikes hitting Rafah as the UN Security Council meets later to discuss Sunday's strike that targeted and killed 2 Hamas leaders in their last Gaza stronghold, but also set a tent camp on fire, killing civilians.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now says Sunday's deadly strike in Rafah was, quote, a tragic mistake. The attack at a tent camp housing displaced Palestinians killed at least 45 people.
That's Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. There's a big business deal this morning. T-Mobile buying U.S. Cellular for $4.4 billion. At the movies,
there will always be war.
The latest Mad Max film, Furiosa, topped the box office, but only with $32 million. The worst Memorial Day weekend opening for a movie since 1995, not counting the COVID era. America's listening to Fox News.
56 degrees, mostly sunny skies to start this week as a back-to-work week on a Tuesday. 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. And this news update is a service of Windy City Safes. Chicago police officers shot and killed a suspect with a knife and wounded a man he was attacking on the west side late last night. It happened around 11:10 p.m. in the 300 block of South Cicero Avenue. No one hurt after a United Airlines flight aborted takeoff at O'Hare. The incident happened yesterday after the engine of a plane bound for Seattle caught fire. The Airbus A320 craft was towed back to the gate. Passengers got off. The heavily used aircraft has seen a string of failures in recent years. An investigation is underway following a home office break-in and then a brazen attempted vehicle theft that resulted in a shootout in Winnetka with the homeowner. Police say 3 were trying to steal high-end cars yesterday morning in the 400 block of Sheridan Road when they were interrupted by the homeowner who discovered the break-in and then the car theft, shouted at the robbery crew, and only then exchanged gunfire with the offenders.
I think that there's a real problem in the justice system. Not paying the consequences is really not doing anybody in our society a service.
No one was hurt. 2 of the suspects fled in a vehicle. 1 ran off. Chicago police are still searching for whoever is responsible for the deadly shooting of a 5-year-old girl on the city's near west side.
As a district commander and as a police officer, it really hits home.
8th District Commander Brian Sprain says the girl's father was also wounded in the shooting. Regina Ware was from the central Illinois town of Lincoln, where Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch this morning says that child's death is a senseless tragedy. The long Memorial Day holiday saw at least 10 killed and at least 32 wounded, including 4 homicides on Memorial Day alone. Chicago sports. Craig Counsell's homecoming to Milwaukee spoiled. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 5-1. Sox lost to the Blue Jays 5-1. The Celtics are heading back to the NBA Finals, beating the Pacers 105-102 in Game 4 of the East Finals. What are you doing to keep your most prized possessions safe? Windy City Safes is Chicagoland's only Liberty Safe dealer. With Liberty Safes, you're not just getting a safe, you're getting peace of mind. Visit the Niles showroom or online at windycitysafes.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager just seeks truth.
The UN has acknowledged that the numbers of women and children killed in Gaza are about half of what has been reported. There will not be one less demonstrator against this gigantic libel of Israeli genocide as a result of this.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads, a service of scholarships.com. Imagine the news that your college student doesn't have years and years of school debt. It's avoidable when you join scholarships.com free. That's scholarships.com. Bensonville, report of an accident. Foster and Country Club Drive. Glen Ellen, an accident. Butterfield and Route 53. Downers Grove, an accident. Ogden and Highland. On the toll roads this morning, Tri-State jamming northbound right at Roosevelt Road. DuSable Lakeshore Drive southbound, stop and go right at the Buckingham Fountain. Dan Ryan in right now. Inbound jams up 47 all the way to 18th. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast and the latest with Steve Williams.
Clouds and sun, shower and thunderstorm from late morning on today, high 70. Passing shower this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, low tonight 54. Partly sunny for tomorrow and the high 67. And then sunny Thursday, the high again at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
56 in Waukegan, 55 DuPage Airport, 55 in Morris, 57 at O'Hare. Your next news update, 7:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Bill Walton, basketball great, passed away over the weekend. Battle with cancer, 71 years old. It's too bad.
So sad. He's not a nice guy. Did you ever get to meet him by any chance?
No.
I did at a golf tournament. He's fun. But his family was
Great
by
story.
his side. No, his family was by his side when he passed away. And, cancer's the worst and it sucks. And that's why people wear T-shirts and have hashtags that say that. So, yes, no, he was just a gentleman, and he was, I don't know. I had fun watching him on TV when he'd go on and help out at, Wrigley Field or for the White Sox, and it just sucks. I didn't even know he was sick. Did you know he was sick? Did anybody know? Or did they keep that private?
Yeah, I think there was some awareness of it. So one of the great Bill Walton stories, and it's really a great John Wooden story, Bill Walton's in it. Mm-hmm. Of course, he was part of the Wooden 10 championships era at UCLA. And, he was a bit of a hippie in his college years. It was late 60s, early 70s. And I've told this story before, but upon his passing, it bears repeating because it's also just a timely reminder about conviction and conviction versus emotion. So he comes back from a break, does Bill Walton, and he's got a beard. As I say, he's a bit of a hippie. So he's, throwing in the student protests of the time and anti-war protests and that free love look. Well, there was a no facial hair policy that John Wooden had for the basketball team. And so he sees Bill Walton at practice, and Wooden goes up to him and says, Bill, our policy on facial hair, so what's the deal? And Bill said, this is me expressing myself, Coach. And I feel this is important. Sort of, a socio-political statement of some sort. And Wooden says, this is something that you're really convicted about. This is important to you. He's like, it really is. And Coach Wooden says, well, look, I always respect someone who stands up for their convictions. And, we're really going to miss you on the team. And then Wooden shaved his beard, and they went on to win a few championships, and he went on to win a few Naismith awards for best college basketball player, and the rest is history. And it's the difference between conviction and emotion. The difference between conviction and emotion. There were principles, there was an agreement that you signed on for when you decided that you wanted to come play for UCLA and play for Coach Wooden. And it was non-negotiable. And by the way, that was the power relationship. That's largely gone now, especially in the era of the portals and NIL. Some people can decide whether or not this is the better era or that was. Gosh, boy.
I'm going to go with that was. Can you imagine if we had a no tattoo policy? If he was still alive today, because everyone's tatted up.
Well, and this brings us to Harrison Butker, the difference between standing for conviction and having an emotional outburst in the moment. Butker gave a talk at a school that I think it's actually a group of schools that's a combination classical K-12 / homeschool hybrid for Catholic families. Okay. Really interesting, actually. Regina Chali Academy. This one is in Nashville. And the theme of this gala they had, where they're raising money for the school and for the school systems, for the schools, plural, I suppose. The theme was Courage Under Fire, and the Courage Under Fire theme was picked well before Harrison Butker's commencement address at Benedictine College. But, so as you'll hear him say, it's sort of providential that this was the theme. But here was his perspective on the last couple of weeks of quote-unquote controversy surrounding the remarks he made at Benedictine in Kansas.
The theme for tonight's gala, Courage Under Fire, was decided many months ago, but it now feels providential that this would be the theme after what we have all witnessed these past 2 weeks. If it wasn't clear that the timeless Catholic values are hated by many, it is now. Over the past few days, my beliefs, or what people think I believe, have been the focus of countless discussions around the globe. At the outset, many people expressed a shocking level of hate, but as the days went on, even those who disagreed with my viewpoints shared their support for my freedom of religion. In my 7 years in the NFL, I've become familiar with the positive and negative comments, but the majority of them revolve around my performance on the field. But as to be expected, the more I've talked about what I value most, which is my Catholic faith, the more polarizing I have become. It's a decision I've consciously made and one I do not regret at all. If we have truth and charity, we should trust in the Lord's providence and let the Holy Ghost do the rest of the work. Our love for Jesus, and thus our desire to speak out, should never be outweighed by the longing of our fallen nature to be loved by the world. Glorifying God and not ourselves should always remain our motivation, despite any pushback or even support. I lean on those closest to me for guidance, but I can never forget that it is not people, but Jesus Christ who I am trying to please. I'm humbled by the support I've received from all walks of life, but I can't help but tremble at the thought of the courage many saints have shown in their lives. Would I be so bold if the repercussion was what Daniel faced in being fed to lions? In reality, any courage I've shown will lead to some small suffering, and it will lead to some people maybe never liking me. But that could be God's will. If I constantly remind myself of the hardships the saints went through, especially the martyrs and their persecution, it makes it all seem not so bad. For if heaven is our goal, we should embrace our cross, however large or small it may be, and live our life with joy to be a bold witness for Christ. My hope is that tonight's theme and RCA's mission will embolden others, that many more will be unapologetic of their Catholic faith and never be afraid to speak out for truth, even when it goes against the loudest voices.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Pretty simple message. Not going to be novel to people of faith listening, but one that can't be delivered enough, because there are so many people who know that message and who know the righteousness of what Butker said, but struggle to struggle to stand up when the time is to stand up.
Do you think there's going to be a pushback from this speech that he delivered like there was the first time? I mean, we have 202,000 people signed this petition to try and get Harris Buckner kicked off Kansas City Chiefs team.
Whatever.
They can sign it, whatever, yeah. I mean,
200,000, pea hats running around, I mean, in a country of 330 million. I mean, with the popularity of the NFL, the popularity of the Kansas City Chiefs, with what Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce even and others have said about him. I mean, whatever. I mean, that's what Butker's saying. Why even worry about it? I'm not worried about it. I mean, the cross that I'm bearing is, I mean, it is minuscule compared to people who have been martyred for their faith. I mean, in a heroic way. Obviously, he's talking about the saints, so that's what we're talking about, in a heroic way, martyred for their faith. Not looking to be martyrs, but unwilling to renounce what they believe under threat from, Caesar, the state, usually. It's particularly salient in these times where you have the FBI weaponized against attendees of the Catholic Mass. Of the Latin Mass, I should say, Catholics who attend the Latin Mass. When you have, and this comes from leadership level people in the Richmond, Virginia FBI office, just as one example. When you have this, the Biden administration, through the National Park Service, tried to prevent the Knights of Columbus from hosting a Memorial Day Mass at the Poplar Grove National Cemetery in Petersburg, Virginia, where they've been hosting a Memorial Day Mass since the 1960s. Why? Because they want to expunge any expression of faith, particularly Christian or Catholic faith. Because what is religion? It's many things, but one of the things it is, like family, it's a bulwark against state power. And they know this. It's easy. I saw a lot of people talking about the Park Service when it came to this order up in Denali National Park in Alaska, that this construction crew couldn't have flags at their work sites.
American flags.
American flag. Yeah, they could. They could fly a Palestinian flag. They could wear a keffiyeh, but they couldn't have the American flag. Of course, American flag. I saw a lot of discussion about that. A lot of attention paid to that. Much less attention to this effort by that same National Park Service to prevent a mass hosted by the Knights of Columbus to remember our war dead that's been going on for 50 years. Harrison Buckner is very much onto something, which many people have been onto, but it's good to have another voice, particularly one with a platform such as his, talking about the animosity that's directed his way because he is doing his best to be a faithful servant. And that's what you're in for in the culture that we have let take hold in this country. So gird your loins if you want to live or attempt to live as a faithful servant. Kevin, Austin, Texas.
Good morning, Annie and Dan. Exactly what you said. He's got a platform to do this. He's got a big audience. And to calmly and concisely deliver that message. I just wish that people that have that platform now, that stand in front of an audience once a week and they're like a head of a parish, could do the same thing.
Yeah, or maybe like the head of a church, like Pope Francis, or Cardinal Supich. That would be nice, too. I haven't heard anything resembling what Harrison Buckner said from either one of them in some time. You get bits and pieces of it, but nothing that is strung together with the moral clarity and, frankly, the humility and offering of grace that Harrison Buckner has provided in just a couple of speeches recently.
Right. You have these people that are in parishes once a week, and they have a dedicated time during the Mass to do this. It's called a homily.
Yes.
Perhaps they could do that.
Yes. Thanks for the call, Kevin. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
All right, this spring, it is here as you bust out the grill and get your patio ready for summer barbecues. Remember that hot dogs, brats, burgers, and beer don't provide the fruits and vegetables your body desperately needs every day to stay healthy and energized. That's why I've been taking Balance of Nature for nearly a decade. It's so easy to open up the individual capsules and dust them over salad or mix them into a juice drinks or water. That's how I do it. And thousands of AM 560 listeners love their Balance of Nature, and you will too. 6 capsules a day provides your body, your heart, and mind with over 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables. You'll love it. Your body, mind, and heart will thank you for it. And order today by calling 800-246-8751. Use coupon code Chicago to save 35% off your first order and free shipping as a preferred customer. 800-246-8751. Call now or order online at balanceofnature.com and use coupon code Chicago. Balance of Nature, fruits and veggie supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Paid for by govmint.com.
Have you heard? A recent stash of 1881 Morgan silver dollar coins has been found. These gorgeous 1881S silver dollar coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck. Only a limited quantity of these Morgan silver dollar coins are available. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone interested in silver coins. Just call Government at 1-800-386-7194 and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1881S Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic S mint mark of the San Francisco Mint. But with limited quantity, you must call now. These 1881S silver coins are still in uncirculated condition. That is 140 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-386-7194. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-386-7194 now to secure your 1881S Morgan silver dollars before they sell out. That's 1-800-386-7194.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing presented by Signature Bank. And this year, AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responders and military heroes, including homeless veterans, and to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Wednesday, June 19th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing package, which includes 25 one-minute commercials between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. And we also have twosomes available in addition to foursomes. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Control Point Engineering, Waukegan Roofing, and by Crosscom Public Adjusters. AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, since we've been talking about the libertarians a bit today with Trump's appearance at the Libertarian Party National Convention over the weekend, Remy from Reason has a new parody song. Now, this is a little bit current, so this may not be as familiar to some of our audience who, unlike me, are not Swifties. You know Taylor Swift's new song, Fortnite?
Yes, I've heard about it. I haven't heard it yet.
Oh, you haven't heard it?
No. Well, as somebody's a Swiftie, a closet Swiftie, Dan?
No, I'm a Swiftie. That's what I said. Because people are not Swifties like myself, who have not fallen head over heels for America's first couple, Taylor and Travis. You may not be familiar with this. I, of course, am, as a Swiftie. Here's Remy's Fortnite parody song, a sort of backhanded tribute to the federal workforce.
Federal employees are not returning to the office.
Now, taxpayers are on the hook for federal office buildings that are barely being used.
Department of Veterans Affairs supervisor caught taking bubble baths on the job.
Temporarily
sent away, but they forgot to come and get me. A barely functioning bureaucrat, nobody noticed my new aesthetic. COVID's still a thing, though that won't keep me from midday soul cycle. Meeting with our agency, expect to see 3 blank screens and Michael. 'Cause every fortnight I am in the office. One day it is so hard working. Every other Monday I click leave on doorstep, but the Grubhub driver rings my doorbell. I want to kill him. All my mornings are Sundays stuck in an endless commissary. If you ever try reaching us, the effects are pulmonary. And my phone rings, it's ruining my life. Sick and it's ruining my life. We come in one day every fortnight. You come in one day every fortnight. 'Cause every fortnight I am in the office. One day it is so hard working. Every other Monday in my backyard I have uncooked burger patties on the table. I want to grill them. I tried calling you, but you don't pick up. Another fortnight lost in America. I tried calling you, but you don't pick up. Another fortnight lost in America. I tried calling you.
He's just so good, and the videos are good too. I mean, he's got a good singing voice in addition to his capacity as a lyricist. I mean, he really is the Weird Al of politics and policy. Pretty good, and a perfect segue to 7:37 when Mark Lennon from wirepoints.org joins us to talk about, well, first and foremost, Winnetka's new $8 million man. Speaking of bureaucrats, that's at 7:37.
But now let's head into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
7:31, and the UN Security Council set to meet today following a deadly Israeli military strike in the southern city of Rafah. Israeli officials say the target was a Hamas compound that killed 2 senior officials. This morning also, Palestinian first responders are alleging new Israeli strikes on Rafah have killed 16 additional on the ground. Ohio lawmakers are meeting this week. They'll try to keep President Joe Biden on the November ballot. Fox's Jared Halperin has more.
Republican Governor Mike DeWine has called the legislature to a special session this week to pass legislation needed to ensure President Biden appears on the state's ballot in November. The bill is needed to move Ohio's August 7th ballot deadline so it falls after the president is officially nominated by Democrats on August 22nd. Ohio has moved the deadline before for candidates of both parties, but earlier attempts to pass the legislation stalled after a Senate version also attached new rules for foreign donations to state ballot campaigns. Democrats complain that measure goes too far. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
A possible tornado damaging homes and a school in Pennsylvania. Just the very latest in a series of powerful storms that swept much of the U.S. over the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Authorities are fearful of a second landslide and a major disease outbreak looming at the scene of Papua New Guinea's mass casualty disaster. Papua New Guinea's government has told the UN it does believe more than 2,000 were buried alive when part of a mountain sheared off. Closing arguments begin today in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in New York. North Korea says an attempt to launch a military spy satellite failed when that rocket exploded and fell into the Yellow Sea after yesterday's takeoff. Chicago police officers shot and killed a suspect with a knife and wounded a man he was attacking on the west side last night. An investigation continues following a home office break-in and then a brazen attempted high-end vehicle theft that resulted in a shootout in Winnetka with the homeowner. A military veteran who was assaulted outside of a Loop grocery store last week spoke out at a press conference on Sunday. The victim, Kevin Chin, suffered injuries to the head and body. He's a 41-year-old who served with the U.S. Marines in Iraq.
Of course, this is a little unsettling because the gravity of the situation, that the fact that I was attacked by 8 or 9 individuals.
Chin, along with community activists and Asian American neighbors, described the attack as a hate crime. Chicago police have not determined a motive. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 5-1. White Sox lost to the Blue Jays 5-1. Hall of Famer, basketball center, and TV commentator Bill Walton is dead at the age of 71 after a long battle with cancer. The news, a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. For 55 years, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with beautiful windows and doors. Take advantage of their 10% off installation on purchases through June 30th. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is concerned for the president.
You got to see the video clip, and then you got to call me and tell me what in the world is wrong with the guy. His eyes are like frozen open. I've never seen anything like it. Certainly never seen him like this. There is something seriously wrong with him. And he's a couple weeks from trying to get on a debate stage with Donald Trump. Good luck.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Reveille. Columbia University has been in the news a lot lately, most recently for canceling their graduation ceremony, fearing disruption by pro-Hamas activists they've been unable to manage in the past. At the Duke University graduation ceremony, pro-Gaza students made a spectacle of themselves when they walked out during the introduction of comedian Jerry Seinfeld, who gave the commencement address and who has been open about his support of Israel. The University of Southern California hosted a scaled-down graduation after canceling the 2024 valedictorian speech due to her pro-Palestinian social media posts. But no other commencement speech so far this year has garnered as much attention and controversy as the speech Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker gave to the graduating class at Benedictine College, a very small, very Catholic institution. With his speech, Butker has fully stepped into the culture war going on in America. For a 28-year-old football star, the speech was bold, and he likely knew that to some folks, it would be misinterpreted and taken out of context. For his audience, though, Catholic men and women at a college where going to daily mass and daily confession are commonplace, his speech was affirmation that you can be a young Super Bowl champion and still live a life of faith. Harrison Butker, Riley Gaines, the North Carolina frat boys, and others in Gen Z are taking stands thought impossible just a few years ago. If sales of Butker's number 7 jersey are any indication of support for his remarks, then it is clear that the pendulum is swinging back when it comes to culture and traditional beliefs about sex, family, and patriotism. It's about time. I'm Jeannie Ives. To learn more, listen to my radio show on Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. on this station and sign up for my newsletter at breakthrough-ideas.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
7:37, a check of the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of scholarships.com. Imagine the news that your college student doesn't have years and years of school debt. It's avoidable when you join scholarships.com free. That's scholarships.com. The Kennedy, 68 minutes right now. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Accident on the Eisenhower outbound right at I-355 this morning. Stevenson inbound 1 hour, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. In the AM 560 Weather Center, clouds and sun for the start of the day. Couple of late morning storms. High near 70. Passing shower, otherwise partly cloudy and 54 overnight. Mostly sunny and 58 right now. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. That theme music means it's time for our weekly confab. This week with Mark Glennon, the founder of WirePoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Before we bring Mark on, I want to set the stage by talking about New Trier Township's $8 million man.
Yeah, who is this? Better
The
than
retiring
$6 million man.
The retiring New Trier school superintendent, of course.
Oh. Excuse me?
Paul Sally, who is a weak educrat, he was one of the parties responsible for the I Hate White People seminar day from a few years back that they discontinued thanks to some parental pushback. They really gave rise to that New Trier Neighbors parents group up there.
Sure did.
Paul Sally is one of those superintendents. Doctor. Yeah, right. How insane. One of those superintendents who will get millions and millions of dollars guaranteed in retirement for putting a fraction into a pension system as compared to what you would have to put into your 401k to generate these kind of returns. And these are guaranteed, of course, because these are defined benefit plans. Illinois, the holdout on that score. This is Ted Dabrowski and John Klingner put the numbers together here. The one number that's not in here that should be is the how much he put in. Because when we used to do this, we used to do the pensioner, public sector pensioner of the day on this show or of the week. And I mean, you know, you're getting 10x, 12x guaranteed returns versus what you contribute to these pension systems. It's obscene, but nobody seems to care, so it continues. Paul Sally, they write, his exact pension will be unknown until he officially retires next year. But based on FOIA data and his current pensionable salary of nearly $350,000, WirePoints estimates his starting pension will be around $255,000 a year. If he lives to 82, his approximate life expectancy, according to Social Security actuarial tables, he'll end up collecting about $8 million in total benefits. By then, his pension will be $476,000 a year, thanks to the 3% COLA that compounds. Compounding. $8 million. And you know what happens is, and this is a good example, is, I mean, very soon into your retirement, you're making more in retirement than you did when you were working.
Right.
How does that make sense? Very soon in your retirement, you make all that you contributed towards your pension back and then some. How does that make sense? It doesn't. That's why Illinois has the highest unfunded pension liabilities in the nation, and all we keep doing is staying stuck on stupid, at least when it comes to simple math. But, you know, this is what New Trier Township wants. The good news is 94% of the funding from New Trier, for New Trier, comes from local taxpayers. So this is what they want, and they're giving it to themselves. And Paul Sally, I'll tell you, there's a lot of residents of the North Shore that are not looking at $8 million guaranteed lifetime benefits and probably had to sock away a lot more money than did Paul Sally in order to plan for their retirement. The whole thing is so wildly unfair, and all this talk these days about equity and fairness, so wildly unfair. And yet Johnny Punchclock and Sally Housecoat continue to take it in the shorts happily. Don't know why. Well, I do know why, because people aren't paying attention, and because there's no opposition party, which generates even less attention being paid. For more on this, Mark Glennon, founder of WirePoints, wirepoints.org. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Appreciate it.
Happy Tuesday, Dan and Amy.
And I just got 380,000 is what Paul Sally put in directly. He put in
Oh my gosh.
He contributed 380,000, and his projected pension year one is 255. So he gets it all back and then some in year two. 380,000 guaranteed return if he lives to the age of 82. $8 million. I mean, honestly, I don't know what it takes, Mark.
Yeah, Dan, the sad part, a little tweak on what you said, these pension costs get outloaded to the state. So the school district pays his salary.
Yeah, salary, but not the... Yeah, right. Good point.
Are on the hook.
Yes.
And my colleagues, John and Ted, did a great job on this piece of pulling up 10 other superintendents, all over or $9 million in projected payouts, all of them retiring in their late 50s, except one who retired at 61. This is when you do the polling on this. People think there ought to be a cap on these things, and that's one of the changes we obviously should make. And this is going to chew up, nearly 20% of the budget again this year, and there's no end in sight, no talk of reform.
You got to look at this. I mean, people have to look at this story at wirepoints.org. I mean, I'll just name a couple that are doing even better than Sally. I mean, Kevin Nolte, who is the superintendent for School District 148 in Dalton, current pensionable earnings, $486,000.
Come on.
Gregory Jackson in Fort Heights, current pensionable earnings, $400,000. I mean,
well, how is this sustainable? I mean, are the checks ever going to just bounce?
It's criminal. That's what it is.
Now, a lot of these guys go on to continue to work, of course. One of them's at a major school district down in Texas, earning a fat salary again. So, these days, when you're 60, it's not like you're burned out, and they can continue to work. So this is hardly the kind of retirement plan that it was intended to be initially. When did taxpayers ever approve of anything like this? Not in concept. They never did.
Larry, I mean, I just want to read these because I don't know what is there to say other than just here's the numbers, and if they don't shock you, if they don't lead you to screaming out loud, then there's no getting to you anyway. Larry Fleming, Lincolnshire, Prairie View, 103, retired at 55. His estimated total pension payout will be $9.471 million.
Oh my God.
Retired at 55. All these Mark was just mentioning all these superintendents, retired superintendents, 57, 55, 56, 10.2, 10 million, 9.9, 9.5, 9.4. I mean,
Laura
Illinois,
Murray, Homewood Flossmoor, retired at 57, 10 million.
Illinoisans hate their money and they hate their home values, and they don't like their schools very much either, as far as I can tell, Mark.
That's right. That report I think you covered last week. We had a thorough report on the new state report cards. Again, this is state data. some 80% of minority students aren't reading at grade level. Math is even worse. The end product is not there. The spending is there, and the whole school funding formula that was passed during the Rauner administration is part of the problem. We're just throwing more money at a problem that's not getting solved.
Yeah, well, they need to be. The Illinois residents need to be illiterate in math so these scams can continue. Because if anybody actually ever did the math or paid attention to the math being done for them, like WirePoints does, maybe somebody would show up to a school board meeting and say, "What the hell is going on here?" Or think about the legislators they're voting for and governors, and think about the public sector union. I mean, of this whole kleptocracy. But it's just, we just passed the largest budget in Illinois state history, which, of course, is basically what is said every year. So there's nothing new here. It's just the same old racket. And what major structural reforms to Illinois' financial house of cards are contained in that document this year?
Well, the striking thing about that, the budget, $53 billion, passed by the Senate, will probably come out the same after the House gets a hold of it this week. It is over 50% larger. That's 50% larger than in 2019. And no, inflation doesn't account for that. Inflation was only 22% since 2019. So a 50% increase in the budget of a state that has flat population or shrinking population. And we already had a problem, of course, running off taxpayers in 2019. People were fleeing because the total tax burden is too high. So just do more of the same. You and I talked some years ago, Dan, about the phrase, "It's happening." It continues to happen year after year, and that's the nature of it. It just gets worse every year. People continue to flee. Illinois is bleeding out, and it's going to continue.
Well, how much of the money is going to the migrant crisis?
About $1 billion, tentatively, $1 billion. Biggest chunk of that is Medicaid. The rest is for welcoming centers, food, and housing and such. And I got to call out one particular. It just annoyed the hell out of me because I went over Memorial Day weekend down to see the former Marine camp, sort of a training camp that's on Foster Avenue. They've converted into a migrant base. It's just sad to see. There's a memorial to the Marines, 14 of them buried behind this facility. It's all locked up. They try to block off the view. You can't even see the damn memorial to the dead Marines that were there. It just gets sadder every day.
This is you try to find silver linings, but the state is so sick. The only silver lining I can find over the weekend is a fellow North Shore resident of yours literally firing back against what appears to be a sophisticated burglary ring that broke into his house and was preparing to steal his cars. That's about the only highlight I've seen in terms of somebody exhibiting some fight in this state.
Yeah. Well-to-do homeowner up in Winnetka. They came into his house, took the keys, the fobs to his two fancy cars, and tried to steal them. He apparently shot in the air. He didn't shot. He warned them first. They shot first. The story goes, and this guy is said to be a partner at a major law firm. We'll hear more about it. The suspects ran away on foot, haven't been caught. Kind of like the Wild West, though.
Do you think Kim Fox is going to go after him, the homeowner, and try and charge him with something, though?
Being a partner at a major firm, I'm sure he thought about that. Since they shot first, and he's said to have shot in the air, I think he's pretty safe, but who knows with Kim Fox?
Well, exactly. Who knows with Kim Fox? Right. Exactly. Well, who knows with any of this, right? The idea that there are some rules that are being followed as opposed to just political calculations being made is the biggest joke of all. That's all that is political calculations. There's no rules here. This is it's what I said. It's a kleptocracy. Mark Lennon, he's the founder of WirePoints, wirepoints.org. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Nature is quite the artist, wouldn't you agree? The pigments that nature uses to paint its fruits and vegetables aren't there just for visual appeal. Those colorings are also essential to our nutrition. Hi, my name is Vincent Clemens, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I found that the vast majority of my clients rarely got enough servings of fruits and vegetables. Balance of Nature dietary supplements can provide more of the concentrated fruit and vegetable ingredients and these pigments. Please remember that consuming a balanced diet should be your first priority in improving your health. Nonetheless, if you're considering a nutritional supplement, then I highly recommend Balance of Nature.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement while supplies last as a preferred customer by using discount code Chicago.
All right, let's do this. Sign up today for our annual golf outing. We are once again teaming up with Tunnel to Towers. Our listeners know that they do great work for those of fallen first responders. They help homeless vets. It's a wonderful day to hang out with like-minded people, help AM 560 as well as Tunnel to Towers. And if you're a business owner, guess what? We're going to help you out too. If you buy a foursome, we're going to give you 25 one-minute commercials that will air right here Monday through Friday on AM 560. It is the best deal in all of Chicagoland radio. And we have availability in the morning, a 7:30 a.m. shotgun start. The afternoon starts at 1 p.m. We're starting it earlier so that we could get on to the day and really just hear from the Tunnel to Towers representatives. And it's a great day. We'll have box lunches, box breakfasts for those who play in the morning. So reserve your foursome today. 560theanswer.com/golf. 560theanswer.com/golf. And we will see you June 19th on a Wednesday at the McRae Golf Club.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $240. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part, my guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Brandon Tatum weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by Charlie Kirk at 7. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax.
We started our company 10 years ago in an effort to help our fellow Christians experiencing tax issues resolve their matters by taking a simple 3-step approach.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys that specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results. We're also a small firm who will treat you like family, not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed." Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What are we to make of Vlad Putin's reported interest in a negotiated ceasefire in Ukraine? We'll start there with Foundation for Defense of Democracy's Cliff May at 8:08.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
Amy and Dan, a shootout during an attempted vehicle theft in Winnetka continues to be investigated. In Chicago, police officers shot and killed a suspect with a knife and wounded a man that knife wielder was attacking. We'll have the latest on that developing story as CPD also investigates the death of a 5-year-old girl killed in a near West Side shooting. Fighting Illini playing this week in the NCAA baseball tournament. Cubs fall to the Brew Crew while the White Sox fall to the Jays. WIND, Chicago News Time.
The defense will go first. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. In closing arguments that'll start this morning at former President Trump's trial in New York, his lawyers will tell the jury there's no crime. He did nothing wrong.
Former President Trump is charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. He has pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors say he falsified those records to cover up campaign finance violations. The charges are connected to a 2016 hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels to buy her silence over her claim that she'd had a sexual encounter with the former president in 2006, something he says never happened.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. There are more Palestinian deaths reported in Gaza after Israel's military says it took out more terrorists and found more weapons in Rafah, considered Hamas's last stronghold. This after Sunday's airstrike that Israel's prime minister called a tragic mistake, setting a tent camp on fire, killing 45 Palestinians, all that upsetting a progressive House Democrat even more.
Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib calling President Biden an enabler of genocide while calling Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal. The Progressive Squad member making the comments at the People's Conference for Palestine in Detroit, Tlaib also blasting her fellow Democrats and the president for criticizing college campus protesters, saying it's cowardly and, quote, "We're not going to forget in November, are we?"
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. The day after Spain gave Ukraine $1 billion worth of military aid to battle Russia, Belgium is doing the same, also offering F-16 fighter jets. It's day 3 of a manhunt for 2 prisoners who made a jailbreak in Louisiana Sunday night. One of them is facing charges in a murder case.
The jail's officials didn't know about the breakouts until hours after the fact. A total of 4 prisoners escaping through a weak spot in a chain-link fence. The police chief acknowledging that the jail was short-staffed at the time, but says that's no excuse.
Fox's Brooke Singman. They broke out with 2 other prisoners who were found hiding in a dumpster near the jail in Tangipahoa Parish. America's listening to Fox News.
58 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police officer shot and killed a suspect with a knife and wounded a man that knife wielder was attacking on the west side. Police say they were patrolling along South Cicero Avenue late last night when they saw a man stabbing another man in the street and investigated. No one hurt after a United Airlines flight aborted takeoff at O'Hare. The plane was bound for Seattle when an engine caught fire. It was an Airbus A320 aircraft. It's a heavily used craft that has seen a string of failures in recent years. An investigation is underway following a home office break-in that also resulted in a brazen attempt at a vehicle theft of high-end cars that resulted in a shootout in Winnetka with the homeowner. Police say 3 were trying to steal cars yesterday morning in the 400 block of Sheridan Road when they were interrupted by the homeowner, who shouted at the robbery crew and only then exchanged gunfire with the offenders.
I think that there's a real problem in the justice system. Not paying the consequences is really not doing anybody in our society a service.
No one was hurt. No arrests have been made. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 5-1, while the White Sox lost to the Blue Jays 5-1, leaving 11 men on base. Bears begin their second week of OTAs at Hallis Hall. The news, a service of Health Insurance Mentors. Call Stephen Tucker today for free Medicare advice. Visit healthinsurancementors.com or call 630-674-1551, healthinsurancementors.com. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now, the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
GameStop shares are up 25% this morning. The video game retailers sold 45 million shares on Friday, raising more than $933 million, which GameStop says will be used for general corporate purposes. Some major investment firms are about to settle with the Securities and Exchange Commission over texting violations. Employees of the firms are supposed to preserve written communications so regulators can make sure they're complying with federal laws. However, employees at Blackstone, Carlyle Group, and others have been accused of using mobile apps on personal devices. Singapore-based discount fashion retailer Shein was expected to launch its stock in New York, though the Wall Street Journal says now it's expected to launch in London in the next few weeks. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
AM 560 News Time is 8:05. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum isn't sure Biden's message hit home.
Today in Georgia, they won't allow water to be available to you while you wait in line to vote in an election. What in the hell is that all about?
So, black people, it's like you think we live in huts in the middle of a desert somewhere.
The Officer Tatum Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Paid for by government.com.
Have you heard? A recent stash of 1881 Morgan silver dollar coins has been found. These gorgeous 1881S silver dollar coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck. Only a limited quantity of these Morgan silver dollar coins are available. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone interested in silver coins. Just call government at 1-800-386-7194 and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1881S Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic S mint mark of the San Francisco Mint. But with limited quantity, you must call now. These 1881S silver coins are still in uncirculated condition. That is 140 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-386-7194. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-386-7194 now to secure your 1881S Morgan silver dollars before they sell out. That's 1-800-386-7194.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
It's 8:08. and let's get an update on the roads. Team Hawkbird Traffic Center time. And this update is service of scholarships.com. Join scholarships.com free to find accurate and vetted scholarships personalized for your student. That's scholarships.com. Kennedy inbound and hour 12. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike outbound accident with stop-and-go traffic right before the Veterans Memorial Toll Road, I-355. Dan Ryan, stop-and-go inbound between Garfield and 18th, and delays on the Reagan, eastbound between York Road and the Tri-State. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. The latest with Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, shower and thunderstorm from late morning on today, high 70. Passing shower this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, low tonight 54. Partly sunny for tomorrow, the high 67. Sunny Thursday, the high again at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. You look at these reports with a jaundiced eye if you're doing it right. A story from Reuters that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is ready to halt the war in Ukraine if a negotiated ceasefire that recognizes the current battlefield lines can be agreed. The current battlefield lines would include the southeast portion of Ukraine into the eastern portion, the Donbass region. These unnamed sources that Reuters cites said that he can fight as long as it takes, but he's ready for a ceasefire to freeze the war, and he's frustrated by Americans in the West propping up Ukraine to continue the war. Of course, Zelensky's posture, these territorial gains that would accrue to Vlad Putin and essentially consummate his invasion are non-starters for Zelensky. But what should the American posture be towards this rolling conflict, particularly after we just drop-shipped them some $60 billion in some form or the other? For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Cliff May. He is the president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies and foreign affairs columnist for the Washington Times. Cliff, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, always good to be with you.
What's your reaction to the the suspected accuracy of the story? You know, is this something that's actually real? And if it's real, what should the U.S. posture vis-a-vis Ukraine be?
So, like you, I'm suspicious. I think there's something going on here. It is possible that Putin would like to say, okay, if I can just realize the gains I've made, I get Donbass, I continue to have Crimea, and we'll freeze the conflict. But keep in mind, he has in mind freezing the conflict for now. I do not believe that he thinks that's it. It's over. I've achieved what I need to achieve in my life. I'm going to go back to making sure that everybody in Russia has the best damn 401k they can possibly have. He may want time to continue to arm. We believe he's been talking to Xi Jinping about getting arms that he could use and go into Ukraine again. Or he may want to do something else. Moldova, a country people don't know very well, next to Ukraine would be low-hanging fruit. It is not part of NATO. And then there are the NATO countries, and particularly the Baltic countries, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. They are part of NATO. I've talked to their ambassadors. Their ambassadors are very nervous about the possibility that he'll try to drag them back into the Russian Empire. As for the U.S. posture, I would say two things. Publicly, we should be supporting the Ukrainians who deserve to liberate their land from a foreign imperialist invader. Quietly, we may want to talk to them about, look, what you need to do at this point is not we think is not recognize the conquests of Russia, but you could use some time to rebuild, to rearm, to become more of a porcupine, the phrase we use for prey that is difficult for a predator to eat. That's what we're trying to do with Taiwan. And then you'll see what Putin does. A lot of Donbass is wrecked at this point, and is going to be very difficult to rehabilitate. So I would say if we're smart, we have serious. If we look very hard at what Putin's saying, figure out why he's saying it. It's not because he doesn't want war. It's not because he doesn't want bloodshed. He may have reasons, and look at the various opportunities it may represent, and the pluses and minuses to. There are no good solutions here. There are bad and worse, and good diplomacy means understanding what's worse and what's bad and what is bad.
What happens if Trump wins in November and he says, essentially, the party is over. We're not going to continue to fund this war, at least not without certain potential stipulations from the Congress, depending on what the makeup of Congress is. He basically is going to put Ukraine funding on the table, at least as a chit, and say no more, and send the message to Putin, sort of as he did when he was president the first go-around, that no more from you either, that we will defend NATO allies, that we are not going to sit idly by if you make a feint to another country. But in terms of Ukraine, this is past post at this point, if that's the posture he takes.
Yeah, if that's the posture he takes. I don't know if that's the posture he takes. He's notoriously unpredictable.
Yes.
Of course, he might want to do what you said the other way around and say to Putin, you need to stop right where you are. If you do, I'm happy to – I don't need to be sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. I'm going to leave that to Europe to do. Then I'm not going to tell them not to do that. But you have to stop first. If you don't, if you keep going, then I am going to continue to help Ukraine defend itself. And I may not be as kind to you as President Biden has been. President Biden has been saying, and this is part of the problem, Ukraine can defend itself on its own land, but it can't inflict damage on Russia using American weapons. During a war, it is actually necessary to inflict damage on your enemies. Right. It is not enough simply to defend yourself. This is an odd thing that Biden has, and it's not just here. He wants the Israelis only to defend themselves. Hamas shoots a weapon at you, shoots a rocket at you. You can knock it out of the sky. That's fine. But if you're going to hurt civilians who are being used as human shields by Hamas, we're not so happy with that. And with Ukraine, you can fight Russians on your soil, but we don't want you knocking out their electrical power facilities. We don't want you hitting their cities. We don't want you hitting their armies as they aggregate to invade you. That you cannot. Here's one thing we know: you can, and any military guy say this: you cannot win a war simply on defense. And that has been Biden's idea. We can only be defensive against our enemies. That's not smart.
Well, speaking of Israel, why do you think Biden is turning on Israel?
Well, I think conventional wisdom is probably right that he has, for the entire time he's been president, done the bidding of the far left of his party. A lot of people voted for him because they thought he was moderate and kind of normal. He's done he's at no point stood up to AOC or Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders. He's had an open border policy, which he has denied. He is illegally spending huge amounts of money, taxpayer money, to buy out student loans from people who took, I don't know, dance history. And I think he's doing that. He's spending that money because he thinks he can buy the votes of young people, a group that he is not as popular with now as he was 4 years ago. So I think that a lot of it has to do with politics and with the left that he sees as his base, and what's going on the campuses.
What about Republicans? Are Republicans being vociferous enough in the direction of these anti-Semitic Marxists in institutions like the International Criminal Court? The idea that, first of all, the administration's posture is we see no evidence of genocide, but they've been essentially silent when it comes to the ICC pursuing warrants for Bibi and other senior Israeli officials' arrests and prosecution as war criminals. And then you get, of course, the overheated rhetoric from these hate mongers like you just mentioned, Tlaib and Omar and AOC and so forth. So where's the Republican Party, it seems to me, to say, look, that's a bunch of nonsense. Even the Biden administration says it's nonsense, and we're not going to participate in the ICC. We're not going to. I mean, I know that we haven't signed the treaty, but I mean, but the leadership from the West, and if it's not going to be the Biden, the president, then it should be leadership of Republicans in Congress to call this out and to say it will not stand. And if we get back in power, we're going to put a lot more behind it than we're putting as just, the majority, the slim majority in the House that allows us to do. I mean, really send a signal to the rest of the West in particular to get its frickin' act together.
I think you're right, and I think there has been some of that, and I'll give you one very good example that I hope other Republicans will follow, and that's Senator Tom Cotton. And he immediately told the judge of the National Criminal Court, the chief prosecutor, Kareem Assad Ahmad Khan. He said to him, look, equating Israel's democratically elected leaders with the perpetrators of the worst attacks on Jews since World War II shows what a farce the International Criminal Court is. Because Khan said, I want arrest warrants for Bibi Netanyahu, for the defense minister, Yoav Gallant, and of course, for those Hamas guys too. Sure. And then Senator Cotton added, Mr. Khan's kangaroo court has no jurisdiction in Israel to pursue these anti-Semitic and politically motivated charges. My colleagues and I look forward to making sure that neither Khan, his associates, nor their families will ever set foot again in the United States. He understands, Cotton does, as Mr. Khan apparently doesn't, that, and you mentioned this, that the ICC has no jurisdiction over anybody who is not a signatory towards a treaty called the Rome Statute of 1998. Israel didn't sign, the U.S. didn't sign. Now, this is really kind of interesting, because what happened is Mr. Khan, he got furious at this, and he said, when individuals threaten to retaliate against the court or court personnel, such threats, even when not acted upon, may constitute an offense against the administration of justice under Article 7 of the Rome Statute. Now,
was that Khan, or was that Judge Merchant in Manhattan? I know they sound alike.
But he's saying you don't even have freedom of speech. If you criticize me, I will come after you and arrest you. And this is a globalization gone wild, because international law, I don't want to get too wonky here. If there's a treaty and you don't sign it, you are not. He has no authority over the U.S. whatsoever, Khan. None, zero. And he has none, I would say, over Israel either. And he's asserting this authority as if he had it, and he's threatening a senator in the U.S. And I would hope the Republicans would push hard to sanction him and sanction his court. And one other thing, Khan's salary and a huge budget for the ICC, which is based in The Hague, has this beautifully a building built by some great architect. Who do you think is paying that? Okay, the U.S. is not, but let me give you some of the major funders. Germany, Japan, France, Britain, Italy, South Korea. Now, do you suppose that President Biden and his ambassadors, if they tried real hard, could have an influence on those countries?
Exactly. 100. But that's exactly my point. Yeah, and the Cotton example is a good one of the kind of pushback that should be should be amplified. 100%. I got another question for you. What do we do about the Rashida Tlaibs of the world? I mean, she spoke this weekend at the People's Conference for Palestine in Detroit, which is not too far removed from a designated terrorist organization by the United States State Department. And by the way, Wasim Rafidi is a member of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. that is a designated terrorist organization, and he spoke there along with Tlaib. When does the, you want to talk about the real insurrectionists? When does this become a bit of a fifth column action with the collaborating by sitting congresswomen like Tlaib with designated terrorist organizations?
I think it is a fifth column action. I think that when members of Congress are embracing members of terrorist organizations, that's outrageous. I would like to see Democrats of good conscience censure those who do this. We're not seeing this at this point. I think it would be a good move for Republicans to attempt to censor it and let the Democrats like, Chuck Schumer and others say, no, we can't do that. People are going to get elected in their districts. There's only so much you can do. You can fight them. You can hope the people of their districts are not pro-terrorist, but some may be. If there are violations of law, and there may be, I'm not a lawyer, those should be pursued. But if you've got prosecutors like the one in New York City, Albert Bragg, or others who were supported by George Soros for their elections, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Carol Markowitz, the columnist for the New York Post, friend of the show, she had a good tweet about these shameful Princeton protesters who tried to interrupt a Memorial Day parade, and block the American flags, shouting "Free Palestine." I'm glad they still have the energy from their hunger strike. But she said her point here in terms of the real insurrection is my point. Not an Israeli flag, an American flag that they were protesting. People who think this is about Israel or the real Palestinians, LOL, need to wake up. Right? These are anti. I mean, some of them are useful idiots. I get it. I'm not worried about some art history major at Princeton, but they're financed and they're backed by professional insurrectionists, professional Marxist revolutionaries, and and this really is an attack on American institutions coming through our college campuses for now. And, oh, by the way, as we've seen over the last 50 years, what starts in the college campus can radiate out to all of the other mediating institutions in a civil society.
This is all absolutely true. There's no question that these people are viciously anti-American. They would say, "Oh, this is America." And you can even hear it. I'm sorry to say, in President Biden's speech at Morehouse College, where he talked about he talked about America as a country that is systemically racist, a country that he's not sure democracy is working. That's an interesting thing for somebody elected to the presidency and who spent all his career as an elected official to say. Kind of odd, but he says a lot of odd things. But when you see them throwing Palestinian flags and throwing blood and red paint on statues of George Washington, they're anti-American. And then the question is, so who are they for? Are they for Xi Jinping and his buddy Vladimir Putin? Are they for Hamas? I think they are. Are they for Tehran? As you guys know, the president of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the foreign minister died in a plane crash. A lot of things happened after that. For one, the UN Security Council had a moment of silence.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you, the American representative.
Yeah, I was good. Go ahead, finish it. Yeah.
Well, the American representative stood quietly for that moment of silence.
Right.
And then the UN Secretary General signed his sincere condolences in a book. And the flag of the UN flew at half-mast for a guy who has killed, literally, I mean, this is a bad guy, thousands of political prisoners, of minorities, of women. They particularly have been going after women, blinding them, killing them for wearing their hijab wrong so their hair showed. I mean, this is also a big part of it. It's terrible that we have these crazies on the campuses. We know that it's not a huge number of students. They are supplied and helped and advised by professional anti-American agitators that are in a coalition, and work is being done, not least by my organization, to try to understand who these people are and how they're getting funding and all that. But the UN is also now not just anti-Israeli, which it is de facto, but it's anti-American, and it's pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas, pro-Islamic Republic, and Guterres, who's the Secretary General, is at the very least afraid of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin.
This is the whole fiction of the community of nations that's always talked about it. What a farce that is. And this is a good
no
example
longer
of it.
international community; it's international mob at this point.
Yeah, right. That's a better description. Cliff May is the president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, foreign affairs columnist for the Washington Times. Cliff, thanks as always.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Dreyfus, founder and president of Metropolis Coffee Company and a proud new customer of Signature Bank. We're a 19-year-old specialty coffee roaster located in the heart of Chicago. Some of your favorite restaurants and cafes serve our coffee. As a small business manufacturer, we understand the importance of working with the right bank, and that's why we made the move to Signature Bank. We were tired of the impersonal service that our large bank had provided. A friend referred us to Signature Bank, and their team was on site to understand our operations firsthand. They provided us the working capital to continue our successful business operations and to fuel our ambitions for innovation and growth. We now have the flexibility to grow at our own pace. That personal touch, you can't find that at a large bank, but we found it at Signature, and we can't thank them enough.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
All right. Are you unable to enjoy the summer as much as you want because of joint pain? Well, this is the best time for being outdoors, but not if your knees, shoulders, back, or hips are hurting due to arthritis or an injury. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Folks, I'm talking lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no downtime, no drugs. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Think about it. When you cut your hand, eventually it heals. And there's no downtime at all. So you can walk, run, hike, play golf, and move again this summer, pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in regenerative medicine. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. So stop putting it off. Take action now. Live your best life again. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. They're now open on Saturdays. The number to call is 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955. Again, that's 312-809-5955.
Hey, where are we?
Wake up, Sleepy. It's debate time, and I'm going to wipe the floor with you.
In your dreams. Oh, wait, we're debating?
Try to keep up here. It's a debate, and we're going to talk about my great economy and your economy that's been a disaster. You see, Joe, the dollar is only backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, and that's why people are dumping dollars for gold and silver.
I usually buy online, so it's all tracked by Big Brother.
Ha! You would. I get mine from the great Americans at Fox Valley Coins, Route 59 in Naperville.
Who are you again?
You're a funny guy, and I'm a serious guy. See, you're not smart with money. I'm very smart. That's why I'm telling everybody about Fox Valley Coins. I tried some other folks, horrible people. Go to Fox Valley Coins and even you'll be treated very, very well. Oh, and by the way, they've sold thousands of silver coins with my pictures on them. They've got a few of you too, but seems they can't hardly give those away.
That's really not much of a debate. Fox Valley Coins, Route 59 in Naperville is the place to buy or sell gold or silver.
Is it true when you do events, your handlers say, break a leg?
Huh?
AM 560, The Answer.
You want to make this appointment television, Pride Month, one of only, half a year's worth of days dedicated to the LGBTQIA plus two-spirit plus. NBC's got it, gay animals.
The paparazzi really are everywhere.
Everything you were taught as a kid is wrong.
You make me wanna dance. Gay penguins, bisexual lions, sex-changing clownfish.
This is a queer planet.
Queerness has always existed. It's only in humans that we have such a stigma about it.
The idea of just having two fixed sexes is clearly out of style.
Mother Nature is pretty open-minded. Sex is not just for reproduction.
It's clear that no matter where you look on our planet, nature is full of queer surprises.
To be honest, we should all probably get laid a little more than we do.
Yep. Not just everyone is gay and gender fluid. Everything. All forms of life. NBC's
no
Queer
idea.
Planet. Yeah.
Queer Planet. Oh, birds are gay. What?
I hope they have that rockin' dance music going, too, for penguins, gay penguins getting it on.
Who do you think that he would even study that kind of stuff? But yeah, there's an app for that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but sure. I'll tell you who's a big fan.
Who?
Your Transportation Secretary, Peabutt. And we're going to talk about some of his hilarious pronouncements. So funny were his pronouncements about green energy. Even Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation, a dutiful sentinel of the Democrat Party, was unable to keep a straight face. We'll start there when Dave Seminara joins us at 8:38.
But first, we're going to stop by that newsroom. Say hello once again to Mike Scott.
8:34 and sunshine this morning. Closing arguments set to begin today in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in New York. 23 are dead as severe weather has impacted parts of the central and southern U.S. Dangerous heat coming for the Gulf Coast and southern Florida. A 17-year-old boy is dead. Several others hurt after a shooting early this morning in Lansing, Michigan. Police say they showed up and found a large crowd downtown around 3 a.m. and multiple shooting victims. At least 7 people between the ages of 15 and 20 are in critical condition. T-Mobile announcing this morning it plans to acquire most of Chicago-based U.S. Cellular, including their stores, some of the wireless operator's spectrum, and its customers in a deal worth about $4.5 billion. The deal includes cash and up to $2 billion of debt. The cell provider was founded here in Chicago in 1983. It is the 4th largest carrier in the U.S. Tennis superstar Rafael Nadal eliminated from the French Open. After the match, the tennis star says there's a big chance that this will be his last appearance ever at the French Open. Nadal was unseeded entering the tournament, battling injuries. He'll skip Wimbledon likely to focus on the Olympics as a member of the team from Spain. Chicago police officer shot and killed a suspect with a knife, wounding a man he was stabbing on the west side late last night. An investigation continues following a home office break-in and a brazen attempted vehicle theft, resulting in a shootout in Winnetka with the homeowner. A military veteran who was assaulted outside of a South Loop grocery store last week spoke out at a press conference on Sunday. The victim, Kevin Chin, saying he suffered injuries to the head and body. The 41-year-old served with the U.S. Marines in Iraq, and he says that may have helped him survive.
Of course, this is a little unsettling because the gravity of the situation, that the fact that I was attacked by 8 or 9 individuals.
Chicago police say the attack happened around 11:30 p.m. last Tuesday near Roosevelt and South Wabash. Asian American neighbors described the attack as a hate crime. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 5-1. White Sox lost to Toronto 5-1. Western Conference Finals continue tonight in the NBA with Luka Doncic and the Mavericks set to sweep out Minnesota. The Celtics heading back to the NBA Finals after a win over the Pacers. The news service of Windy City Safes. What are you doing to keep your most prized possessions safe? Windy City Safes is Chicagoland's only Liberty Safe dealer. Visit the Niles showroom, call 224-LOCKBOX, or online at windycitysafes.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains the feeble mind.
New York Times had a piece, a column by someone who wrote that she's not having children because of climate change. The ease with which people on the left are brainwashed is one of the scariest parts. If you're not brainwashed, then you're not a leftist. Anything that they're told by the New York Times, they believe.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements. Changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Bob Corbin. I'm 55 years old, and I like to tackle life every single day. My life's never boring. I make sure of that. Whether we're gardening, back at the pond fishing, running the tractor and moving dirt, playing rock and roll music, there's always something to do around here. I've been taking Balance of Nature for about 5 years. I feel absolutely phenomenal. Balance of Nature helps me feel better. It's just that simple.
Make a splash into summer with Balance of Nature supplements. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Hurry, this offer is only available while supplies last. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this limited time offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
When the storms hit Chicagoland this spring and your home or business has water damage, ProTech Restoration is ready 24/7. The certified team at ProTech Restoration will be there quickly and work directly with your insurance. But even in between the storms, if you come across water in your basement, bathroom, or kitchen due to leaking pipes, an appliance breakdown, or sump pump failure, know that ProTech Restoration has seen it all and knows what to do. They are a leading Chicagoland emergency water damage cleanup, repair, and restoration company, offering 24-hour rapid response. They'll clean up, extract, repair, even do a total build back. Search online for ProTech Restoration in Elk Grove Village and check out their Google reviews. To get your free on-site evaluation and estimate, visit protechwaterdamage.com. That's ProTech waterdamage.com. Servicing the entire Chicagoland. ProTech Restoration. Experience, transparency, trust. ProTechWaterDamage.com.
It's 8:41. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale continues. Save up to $500 on select adjustable bed sets like the all-new Tempur-Adapt collection. It has advanced pressure relief to help reduce aches and pains. Plus, get up to a $300 instant gift for pillows and more. Mattress Firm today. Kennedy at an hour 14, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike inbound at hour 5, 390 into the old post office. Stevenson outbound, you're jammed up from the Des Plaines River Bridge all the way to the Tri-State. DuSable Lakeshore Drive jammed up southbound Monroe down to 18th. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Clouds and sun with a couple of thunderstorms that could crop up late in the morning. We'll top out at 70 with a low of 54 overnight. 61 right now. Your next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We're going to talk immigration with Dave Seminara, but we have to include this. We have to include P. Butt's appearance on Face the Nation. Because there's no one that I can think of who has more facility in cheerfully saying the most ridiculous things than P-Butt. I mean, he takes Dick Durbin saying unreasonable things in a reasonable tone of voice and goes next level with sort of the cheerful disposition in the delivery of these fairy tales.
It's just complete incompetence, but yes.
Yeah, right.
Play it for the people because they need to hear it.
This is all, about the backdoor Green New Deal and transforming our economy, and then of course the climate change apocalypse. And you don't have it's not even a discussion of energy policy, or it's a discussion of climatology. It's just a discussion of of incompetence and bull jive. Bull jive that just pours from P-Butt's mouth. Even Margaret Brennan, a stalwart Democrat propagandist, couldn't keep a straight face during this exchange.
The Federal Highway Administration says only 7 or 8 charging stations have been produced with a $7.5 billion investment that taxpayers made back in 2021. Why isn't that happening more quickly?
So the president's goal is to have 500,000 chargers up by the end of this decade. Now, in order to do a charger, it's more than just plunking a small device into the ground. There's utility work, and this is also really a new category of federal investment. But we've been working with each of the 50 states. Every one of them is getting formula dollars to do this work, engaging them in the first handful. Again, by 2030, 500,000 chargers. And the very first handful of chargers are now already being physically built.
It's exciting. We already have 7 done. We just have 499,000 left. 993 to go. $7.5 billion. $5 billion is being distributed to the states to build 500,000 in the next 5.5 years. Okay. Sure. By the way, just by way of comparison, before he kneecapped really, the guys that build his electric charging stations at Tesla, Elon Musk built more than 50,000 EV chargers at a total of $1.1 billion.
Right. Don't you think the Biden administration should have consulted with him?
Well, I don't think he wants in on this. That's sort of the reading I've been getting. But forget that. 50,000. Let's suggest, for the sake of argument, that Elon Musk does it more efficiently than state governments do, and the sort of, even though he's a beneficiary of industrial policy too. But 500,000, even if you could get that done after only having 7 done in the last almost 3 years, even if you could get the other the balance of the 500,000 done in the next 5.5 years, it took him $1 billion to produce 50,000. And you're saying you can do 500,000 for $7.5 billion? I challenge that. This is just wonderful. And then one more P-Butt hit from Face the Nation. This is on. Have you noticed a spike in turbulence on your flights? I have not, but
no,
but
it's always the same.
But
that Singapore Airlines, incident. Now everybody's talking about turbulence again.
Just like East Palestine, and we're supposed to be talking about train derailments, but that's by the boards. So one-offs. But no, of course, everything that can be characterized as systemic will be characterized as systemic in furtherance of the eco-supremacy policies of this administration, and P-Butt's the mouthpiece for that.
The effects of climate change are already upon us in terms of our transportation. We've seen that in the form of everything from heat waves that shouldn't statistically even be possible, threatening to melt the cables of transit systems in the Pacific Northwest, to hurricane seasons becoming more and more extreme, and indications that turbulence is up by about 15%.
They just make stuff up, man. They just make stuff up.
Wow.
But if you say it earnestly with a smile on your face on a Sunday talk show with a suit on, we're supposed to take you as beyond reproach.
And don't forget the powerful pin on his lapel, too. Makes him look really important, Dan.
Yeah, I wonder if he rode his bike a block to that appearance. For more on this, Dave Seminara, former diplomat, author of Footsteps of Federer, and Mad Travelers, A Tale of Wanderlust, Greed, and the Quest to Reach the Ends of the Earth. Dave, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. 61 degrees in Chicago sounds very good to me right now.
Yeah, well, I know it's there's heat in Florida where you are that is not statistically possible, and yet it's happening, according to Peabody.
It's awful. Can I come up to Chicago and visit? It sounds very good at this time of year.
I mean, it's just I'm not a climatologist, neither are you, and I'm not an expert in energy policy like Hunter Biden, and neither are you. But I mean, just the what he shovels out. Your reaction?
Well, Mayor Pete.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear the audio that well, to be honest with you. But Mayor Pete, I would say if I had to handicap, he's going to be one of the front runners. I mean, I wish I could say we can just forget about him soon. He's probably going to be one of the front runners in 2028. Is he not?
I don't know. I mean, maybe if Kevin Costner has his way, but
that's too depressing to think about on a Tuesday morning after a long
Yeah, please. Don't make me go there.
All right. So on a more serious matter, let's speak of serious people and serious matters and dispense with Peabody. Admiral Daryl Caudle is part of the U.S. Fleet Command. Admiral. He had this exchange with Bill Hemmer over the weekend on illegal immigrants' incursions into our military bases. Forget just coming across the border and all the problems associated with that. Just even this specific problem after 2 incidents last week. Take a listen.
Chechens, Jordanians, some of them just crossed the border. What's going on?
Well, this thing of our military bases getting penetrated by foreign nationals is happening more and more. This is something we see probably 2 or 3 times a week where we're stopping these folks at the gate. With a week at least, and this is just Navy alone, where we're seeing folks try to come in, and usually the cover story is, and I'm a student, I'm here, I'm an enthusiast, I want to see the ships, that type of thing. We have to turn them around, and typically we get NCIS involved with those, and we get biometrics when possible. But yes, there's been an uptick in that.
Do they have passports? Do they have?
A lot of times they have passports.
Papers?
They have papers, yes, but they're in no way, shape, or form authorized to be on our base. And it's really hard for us to tell the underlying motive for these type of cases.
Wow, that's stunning.
It is.
It's got to be a concern.
This is Russian, Chinese. It comes from all these different nations. We're seeing an uptick in it.
In addition to that, there's been some reporting on this over the last 6 months. You're getting 2 or 3 drones flying over military bases in America per week.
That is no question.
That is no question. So, yeah, I'm a weapons system enthusiast, and I'd like to see what kind of hardware you have at the base. What do you say to that aspect of this story, Dave?
I didn't catch. Was this guy active duty or is he retired?
No, he's active duty.
He's active duty, and he's admitting that. Wow, is he going to be fired? I mean, first of all, I'd be surprised that he gets away with that because you don't usually see that level of candor.
Well, I think after what happened last week, some candor is warranted.
Oh, it's certainly warranted, and it's refreshing, but I'm just surprised to hear it, I think, the bottom line about this kind of thing that people don't realize is this whole idea of, liberals always say people being vetted or unvetted or whatever. You cannot properly vet people, whether they come legally or illegally, when they're coming from ramshackle, third world, disorganized countries. I tell these things all the time when you talk about refugee programs, saying, oh, these people, they're so well vetted. You can't really vet people well who are coming from Somalia, Sudan, Guatemala, any of these places, because in most of these countries around the world, if you pay somebody, you can get a clean bill of health, meaning you can have records expunged. They don't have good court systems. They don't have good record keeping. So the bottom line is when we let in tons and tons of people from all over the world, whether it be illegally or legally, you really don't know who's coming in. That's the bottom line.
Well, in point of fact, that's something that once upon a time, former FBI Director Jim Comey said when the issue was potentially bringing many Syrian refugees over when Assad was in one of his latest, at the time, his latest fits of killing his own people. And Comey's like, we don't really have the capacity to vet, particularly on the scale that's being discussed by then the Obama administration. So it used to be something that everybody understood, and now we pretend that none of this is a particular issue. In fact, there was that interview last week that Bill Maloogian did for Fox News, with a Turkish immigrant who's like, I'm worried. Like, even though he paid $10,000 to a cartel or a trafficker to get him over, he's like, there's no vetting being done. I'm an okay guy. We'll take his word for it. But there's a lot of people coming over that are not okay guys.
Right. No, vetting is a joke. In this last piece that I wrote also too, I took aim at one of my favorite YouTubers, Bald and Bankrupt. Have you guys ever watched his videos?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very entertaining. But he had a really viral series over like December, January, where he came north with the coyotes, and not with the coyotes, sorry, with the migrants on the train that a lot of them come on. And all of these videos were just so preachy about, you see, these people are so wonderful. Look at this nice person I'm sharing a beer with, and so on and so forth. And that has sort of seeped into sort of mainstream culture, this idea that everybody coming here is harmless. And the thing is, but only 1% of them, or 1/10 of 1% of them, have to be not harmless to make the whole exercise extremely dangerous, right? So that's the bottom line. It doesn't matter if 99 of the 100 people are really nice people who are just looking for a job. If there's one of them out of 100 who's going to cause danger to us, then all 100 of them, are dangerous, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just ask Lake and Riley's family.
Yeah, and many, many others, which the media completely ignore in most cases.
Yeah, but why is Biden letting this happen? I mean, is it
well? I
kind
mean,
of
he can only
obvious?
piss his base off on so many different things, right, Amy? He's already pissing them off about Gaza, right? He's got to give his base something. I mean, if all of a sudden he said, all right, let's go ahead and build the wall, or you know what I'm saying? If he moves to the right on immigration, it's like, my God, I mean, it's already his base is furious with him. I don't know how many times he can really get away with that. His base still wants open borders. They still have this idea that the more diverse America is, and by diverse, they're talking about skin color only, not viewpoints or anything like that, the better the country is. So, I mean, this guy he's got to pander to his base, doesn't he?
Dave Seminar, a former diplomat, author of Footsteps of Federer and Mad Travelers, A Tale of Wanderlust Greed and the Quest to Reach the Ends of the Earth. Dave, thank you as always.
Nice talking to you guys. Take care.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Everyone knows the old saying, nothing lasts forever. Well, whoever said that obviously never bought a timeshare. Not only do your maintenance fees and assessment fees go on forever, they go up forever. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Over 10 years ago, I was a timeshare salesman. But once I saw the dark side of the business, I quit. I started helping folks get out of their timeshares. Since then, we've helped over 30,000 families by getting them out of bad timeshares. If your timeshare agreement goes on forever, if you were told timeshares are a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you have questions, we have the answers. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-839-8484. That's 800-839-8484. 800-839-8484.
Awards Watch says Liam Neeson is at his best, so don't miss him in the land of saints and sinners. Having left his dark past behind, retired hitman Finbar Murphy, played by Neeson, leads a quiet life in a remote coastal Irish town, but when a menacing crew of terrorists arrive, Finbar is drawn into a vicious game of cat and mouse, forcing him to choose between exposing his secret identity or defending his friends and neighbors.
I saw it. I saw it. It was pretty good. Liam Neeson, he makes a lot of movies, these sort of cut and paste action movies, and some of them not very good. That one was actually pretty good.
Okay, in the land of saints and sinners, from Goldwyn Films and Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. It's available to buy or rent on digital now. Rated R. For a chance to win a digital rental, visit 560theanswer.com, keyword saint. That's 560theanswer.com, keyword saint.
Gold and silver are at world record highs. The time to sell is now. PGS Gold & Coin is Chicagoland's #1 valuables dealer, specializing in rare coins and precious metals. PGS Gold & Coin Springtime Clean Out Buying Event. Grandma's jewelry box could be worth thousands. Mom's sterling silver flatware and tea sets could be worth thousands. Dad's coin collection could be worth thousands. Do not miss this opportunity. Gold and silver are at all-time highs. PGS Gold & Coin, Chicagoland's valuables expert with 45 years experience. PGS Gold & Coin is an A+ Better Business Bureau accredited business with thousands of 5-star reviews. 4 locations in Palatine, Schaumburg, Wheaton, and Villa Park. Now is the time to get the most money for your precious metals. Call PGS Golden Coin today. 888-416-2701. That's 888-416-2701. Or visit them online at pgsgoldencoin.com. Mention you heard this ad on AM 560 and get a free evaluation. pgsgoldencoin.com.
PGS. When it comes to your valuables, they're the best.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at lifelock.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, look at the time. Thanks so much for joining us. Dan, anything you want to add?
No, I left it all on the field, as I always do.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks to Justin Kosick and Quinn McCarthy. Couldn't do it without them. Now let's head into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
This morning, United aborting a takeoff at O'Hare due to an engine fire. That investigation continues from the